Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of PPN NASCAR Classics. I'm your host Eddie. Well, today we're taking a look at another classic NASCAR race. Today I'm going to start over the next week doing some Daytona 500 races. And I couldn't help but do one of the better ones first. No, it's not the 1998. I will get to that one, but that one is so overrated. So here is the 1992 Daytona 500. Hope y'all enjoy it.
Will the gentleman representing the King
We'll stop it. Here we go.
start his engine.
Okay, guys, let's go. Okay, guys, let's go. Crank them up.
Here is the starting lineup for the 34th annual Daytona 500. On the pole, the man who finished second a year ago, Sterling Marlin, and the two-time winner, Bill Elliott. Going to row number 2, Dale Earnhardt still seeking to win this race for the first time, and Morgan Shepherd. In row 3, the Fords of Mark Martin and Davey Allison. At 5:30 any morning, Mark Martin can be found working as hard on his own well-being as that crew works on his car. He's never been more ready for the 500. Going to row, rolling off pit road, preparing for the 500. Richard Petty leading the field down here on the apron, taking them down into turn number 1. Bill France giving the command to him, fire his engine, and he is the grand marshal for the race, giving the order for the rest of the field. Let's go down
in a traditional form either.
Let's go down on pit road right now. Mike Joy is standing by with the gentleman who has put together the team that's on the front row.
And he has reason to smile, Ken. Junior Johnson has won the 500 as a driver. He has both of his Fords on the front row. Junior, two cars I know you've tried to make as equal as possible, but you have two very different drivers in Sterling Marlin and Bill Elliott.
Well, they are different, but Sterling, I think he could surprise everybody here today. He hasn't really showed his potential, and Bill, he's showed that he's established good, cool driver, has really a lot of finesse on him.
43 for 35 of NASCAR's 44 years. Richard has been active as a driver. Now we're moving back to the 35th position. Inside Dale Jarrett's car, making its first time out in this Daytona 500, is the new team of Joe Gibbs. And he's standing by with David Hobbs on pit road.
Well, Joe Gibbs, you're pretty used to the big occasion, the coach of the winning team just a few weeks back at Super Bowl. How are you feeling today with auto racing Super Bowl?
About the same way. I'm kind of nervous right now. My job here is not as crucial as it is at a Super Bowl, but I know my place here.
Do you find this as predictable as football?
Not as predictable, no. There's a lot more losers here.
Well, we wish you good luck today in your new career as a car owner, and back to Ken Squire in the booth.
Preliminary lap 1 is complete. Close to the start of the Daytona 500. Stay with us for CBS flag-to-flag coverage. This is the event. We're coming down to the moment of start, and let's go right now to Chris Economaki.
Trouble before the race starts. Car 03, rookie Kerry Teague, sponsored by Team USA. 2,000 fans around the country sent in $125 each, and the car has an equalized tire. They expect vibration. Neil Bonnet can comment on that. Thank you.
I'll tell you, Chris, that thing's going to give them trouble. They'll have to get it off there because just in one straightaway on this size racetrack, that tire will literally tear the fenders off the car. They'll have to change that before the start.
Field coming down onto pit road. Preliminary lap, getting the speed at which they'll run in the course of the 500 here on pit road. You're inside Richard Petty's car, number 43. Carrying one of our onboard cameras today as he comes down pit road. And this is his roof cam, and this is the first time you've seen it on on a 2.5-mile super speedway. Our second onboard camera rides with the Ford of Mark Martin. There's his bumper, front bumper shot. Looking back here at Mark Martin, young man from Batesville, Arkansas. And here is Dale Jarrett from the 35th position in the Joe Gibbs car number 18. And looking back here into the field to Mike Joy.
This inclinometer is found in every pit along the lane. It measures the angle of the rear spoiler, and if the team wants to change it, they have this tool to move it up or down. The flattest spoiler on pit road, 37 degrees, belongs to Derek Cope. Many teams are running as much as 45 and even 46 degrees for stability at the start of this race.
Field now in the back straightaway. And from the pace car, you're getting these pictures. There's Elmo Langley, twice a winner himself in Winston Cup racing. Used to be in the top 10 back in the early 70s. Checking the field out. On the radio with race control, he'll duck onto pit road. And the field will be turned loose for 200 laps, 500 miles. The 34th annual Daytona 500, moments away from a start. Pace car is in, and we're ready to go green.
Sterling Marlin has taken the lead into turn one, and his teammate Bill Elliott right on his bumper.
Sterling Marlin off the pole. Third time in his career that he's come to that point, but he's never won. Second 5 times in his Winston Cup career.
I tell you, that might be an indication of things to come all day, Ned. We saw as soon as they started, the 22 car moved to the outside and got with his teammate, left Earnhardt on the inside, and he's dropping back. So these guys will work together all day long.
Coming around to complete lap number 1. The pole sitter at 192 miles an hour. Remember, the pole in this race has given us a winner on 7 previous occasions. The last time, Bill Elliott in 1987. He currently lies second.
Yesterday, late in the practice, Sterling Marlin was among the fastest cars out there. He could hook up with some of the other Fords and ran some very, very fast laps.
Richard Petty coming to the inside and trying to move through some traffic here in the car number 43. Remember, he started well back after an incident in the 125-mile qualifier. Now getting caught up by Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett scooting by on the outside.
I think Richard got caught down there without anybody to draft with. Now he's on to Phil Parsons in the Ford number 9. That'll help him some. You got to have a drafting partner now. If you get caught in a lane by yourself, they'll just drive right on by.
Ned, also, I talked to Richard yesterday afternoon, and I think you're going to see him. He said the first thing he wants to do is finish this race. And after what we saw in the 125s, a little caution right now might go a long way in the end of this day.
White number 47, Buddy Baker, just in front of Phil Parsons and Richard Petty there, the 1980 winner, the fastest 500 ever run on this track at an average speed of 177 miles an hour. Back straightaway at over 190 miles per hour. And you see as they're deployed, Sterling Marlin first. That's Bill Elliott second. Mark Martin in third. Here comes Davey Allison down to the inside. Davey Allison a little squirrely there as he made that third turn pass.
And look at Earnhardt up on the high side. He almost had a notion to go around Ricky Rudd and make it 3 abreast, but he decided that's not the smart thing to do.
I think he had the notion, and Rudd had the notion not to let him, because they certainly used up a lot of racetrack.
3 wide as they come out of the tri-oval, and on the outside, the Intimidator, the car number 3, the black car. That's Dale Earnhardt, pulls up another spot. Well, that's really riding the rail on the outside. Elevator to the top for car number 3 as Earnhardt made that pass in the 17-degree tri-oval area of the Daytona Speedway.
No one is more daring than he is. He has a lot of confidence in himself and his automobile.
Top 4, Marlin first, Elliott second, Davey Allison third, Mark Martin fourth, and Ford's running 1 through 4. Back in fifth, the Chevrolet. Number 3 of Earnhardt, followed by Ricky Rudd in the Hendrick Chevrolet.
This is the question everybody wants to see. If the Fords get away, can the GM cars come back? Here's a test early in the race. 4 of them breaking away. Can the next pack pull back up there?
Joe Gibbs looking on as car number 18 sorts itself out for the back of the field. Inside of Dale Jarrett's car as he closes in on Terry Labonte's Chevrolet.
Well, he has moved from his 35th starting position, Ken, up to 25th now, so he's picked up 10 positions here in the first 4 laps.
Backup car for Dale Jarrett after he destroyed a car here in the 125-mile qualifiers. Davey Allison also driving a backup car, and look at this move on the outside. That's Greg Sachs in the 41. He looked very strong back on Thursday in those 125 milers. He's looking equally so today.
Ken, on lap 4 of this race, they ran 192.9. That's faster than the pole position, so the draft is really working today.
4-car draft up in front, about to become a 15-car freight train. They pulled 10 cars into it now. Working lap number 6 of 200. Here's Davey Allison inching down for a look on the inside out of turn 2. Back straight away for turn 3. Here comes Elliott, number 11 on the outside, passing his teammate.
I believe the Sterling Marlin's car might be getting a little loose here early, and he was slowing them down a little bit in the turn, so Bill Elliott said, hey, my car is strong. Let me get up on the outside. Takes Davey Allison with him, and here comes Dale Earnhardt.
Davey Allison to second spot in the number 3. Earnhardt rolling for third. A year ago, it looked like Davey or Earnhardt were going to win it with 4 laps to go. They had that big crash coming out of turn number 2. Here they are running nose to tail with Sterling Marlin down on the inside. Marlin, if he can win the race today, gets a $182,000 bonus. Put up by the Union Oil Company. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Daytona 500 rookie Bob Schacht has either flat-spotted or gotten one wheel out of balance. At these speeds, it's impossible to tell which one it is, so he's going to lose nearly 2 laps here while his crew changes 4 tires. A tough break.
Bob Schacht, former star of the Automobile Racing Club of America, trying this Daytona 500. Kerry Teague has been back in the pits and out again. Meanwhile, up in front, there's the story. It's Bill Elliott in the lead with Sterling Marlin second, Earnhardt third, Davey Allison right there with him. And look at this bundle of automobiles headed for turn 1.
This is going to be the first opportunity. We see the 2 Fords out front. We've got Earnhardt with a 4-car, Ernie Irvan right behind him, and they're going to see if they can hook up now with the 2 GM products and race with the Fords.
And look at Greg Sachs, who started 9th in that number 41. His only Winston Cup victory came right here on this track back in July 1985. Dale Jarrett signaling for someone to hook up with him in a draft net.
Yeah, he passed Stanley Smith on the last lap and lost a lot of time to the pack that he was running behind. He's out there by himself, but it looks like he is gaining on that pack of cars in front of him.
The 18 car back in the 25th position. Joe Gibbs looking on. He's Rippon out there as quarterback. Actually, Rippon is working a little further down in the pit area today. He's on Chad Little's car.
Yeah, they went to high school and college together, and Rippon is on the other team today. I'm not so sure Gibbs won't go down and recruit him in a minute.
Well, he calls Dale Jarrett his quarterback in racing. Of course, Rippon is quarterback with the Washington Redskins.
8 laps complete, all under green thus far. Let's go to David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with Jimmy Maker, Dale Jarrett's crew chief. He's pulling up well through the field, but he just had a bit of a momentary pause. Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay right now. We're just trying to take our time and stay out of trouble, keep, it's a long race, and we just want to kind of survive this first half and put ourselves in position to be able to run good the second half.
He's right in the middle of a big draft. Is the car okay in that draft?
Yeah, so far the car's real stable. We haven't had any complaints to tell us about. He did say he was going to be real cautious here and try to stay out of trouble.
Wise boy. Thank you.
Ken, it's interesting to hear his language now. He's talking about halves. We never heard that in racing before Joe Gibbs came along.
Bill Elliott stays in front. Marlin is second. Allison third. Earnhardt is fourth. Sachs in fifth. Back with more of the 500 shortly. At the Daytona 500 with 12 laps complete, Elliott and Marlin run 1 and 2. Earnhardt is third, but the big story is the man that's coming up to fourth, all the way from 16th starting position. It's the 1986 winner of the Daytona 500. number 15, Jeff Bodine, has taken over in 4th spot. Take a look at this from Mark Martin's vantage.
Yeah, a lot of cars in front. There's Davey Allison. He slipped back a little bit, Ken. He was up there in 3rd position not too long ago.
9th position now.
You were talking about Jeff Bodine there a moment ago. Here is Brett Bodine. Something has happened to his Ford. Kenny Bernstein owns that car. Had high hopes here. Ernie Elliott builds the engine, but something has gone awry here early in the race for him.
Got a couple of families getting together on that car, and things not going well. His brother-in-law is a crew chief, Brett Bodine's brother-in-law, and the Elliots. They thought that the two families together were going to give them an edge here. They've had trouble in the 125s for the last 2 years, and now in the 500. The Bernstein car is edging back on pit road. Here's Mike Joy. We'll get back to Mike Joy in just a moment. Watch car number 15. This is Bodine from 16th up to 4th. He's on a roll, Neil Bonnet.
Yeah, the other day he won the Busch Clash, and he had to do it from the rear of the pack to start with. Car worked well at the end of the race, and it seems like he has it dialed in early here.
And the present picture up in front has Fords 1, 2, and 4. That's Chevrolet number 3 maintaining 3rd spot. Just behind them, Morgan Shepherd has brought the Wood brothers to 5th. Davey Allison now to 6th. Michael Waltrip 7th. In 8th is Mark Martin. 9th is Greg Saxon. 10th is Ricky Rudd. And the Junior Johnson cars continue to run 1 and 2. What's the magic with those Johnson cars?
I'll tell you, I talked to Junior Johnson earlier in the week. He said he came up with a motor program that really found a lot of horsepower, and it's showing up down here in the race. In this particular instance here, these two guys are working together. I can't help but think these three guys want to shake that little black car, get the only GM guy out of there and let him race themselves. And right now they're putting some distance on Dale.
They're averaging 188 miles an hour through the first 14 laps of the 200 laps to be covered in the Daytona 500. With close to 140,000 looking on here at Daytona, the scramble is about 0.08 between those front 4 cars.
Now here's your 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th place cars. That's Ernie Irvin, the winner last year in the yellow number 4. Darrell Waltrip, the 1989 winner. And Greg Sachs, car number 41, and Ricky Rudd finished 2nd last year in the Winston Cup point standings.
And just behind Rudd in the 5, Mr. September, Harry Gant, number 33, is very much in this race.
And behind Gant is... You started to say it was Derek Cope, but Derek's one behind that. That's
I think Rick Mast.
Yeah, Rick Mast, who had an excellent run here last year, finished 4th in this race.
Go back another spot, and there you find Rusty Wallace moving up in the Roger Penske black and gold number 2 machine.
Guys, I can't help but notice and just sense a little bit more peace and calm than we had on Thursday in the 125-mile races. Looks like they're settled down. They're not doing all the jockeying around. We lost a lot of race cars, 125 milers. These guys are going to burn some miles down and really get after each other.
All right, let's try Mike Joy once again on pit road.
Ken, it's ignition trouble on Brett Bodine's car. The Kenny Bernstein team switched to Fords this year. That's Ernie Elliott with his back to camera who's building the engines. They have removed the distributor cap and are working with the ignition system there. But Brett had called in on the radio, the car just shut off and he coasted into pit road. He's lost about 5-6 laps already while they try to diagnose and repair this electrical problem.
Heartbreaker for Kenny Bernstein, who just did so well out there at Pomona in the Winter Championships for the NHRA. A winner, but his stock car program seems to be jinxed here at Daytona. As we left to join Mike, Ricky Rudd came up to 11th spot. Harry Gant back in 12th. Here's that leader, number 11, the 2-time winner of the 500. Bill Elliott stays right up in front by a car length, and he is in a draft, even though he's a car and a half length apart from his running mate, Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, and right behind this pack, Ken, we have Davey Allison and some of the guys. They're trying to work together. These 3 cars watching here. Here comes the second pack. Davey Allison's got a very strong race car. He might have the ability to pull this other 4 or 5 cars up in the lead group.
You see Davey Allison finding behind him in 4th. Earnhardt back to 5th. Morgan Shepherd in 6th. Now the spoiler. That edge, that blade, and look at this battle up in front as car number 22 takes another shot at first place. The spoiler on the rear trunk lid. That's the story here. The flatter you make it, the faster you can go, but the looser the car is. Here comes the 15 of Bodine on the bottom. And he's known for running with very little spoiler on that car. He'll flatten it out just as much as the law allows. Jeff Bodine comes up to 3rd spot. More of the Daytona 500 with 18 laps complete right after these messages. In the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, Sterling Marlin has the advantage. He started on the pole looking for a $180,000 bonus before this crowd of well over 130,000. Let's go to David Hobbs.
I'm with Jack Roush, owner of Mark Martin's car. We hear that Mark's going to come in for a wing adjustment.
Yeah, the car is pushing. It's got too much downforce in the back. It's a little draggy. We're going to take some spoiler off here first time we stop. But he likes to complain a lot early in the race, so we understand what we need to be working on. He's not in too bad a shape.
Thanks very much. Down to Mike Joy.
They removed the distributor from Brett Bodine's car, and there's a gear on the end of that shaft. One of the tooths was chipped, so it wouldn't engage the camshaft and keep the engine in time, and it ended up shutting off. Brett, he's going to try to fire that car now. You just got to be devastated.
Well, Mike, we came down here with our high hopes. Ernie Elliott engine, Ford Thunderbird body, Quaker State backing us all the way. And to have something like this happen, part failure, you can't predict it. You do all your work all winter, put all your best pieces together, and you come up short. We got a great race team, Mike. I'm telling you, this is a good race team. We're going to be back, and we're going to be in victory lane 4 years over with.
There will be better days.
Hard moment for Brett Bodine, whose brother is running so well right now. Number 15, Jeff Bodine, the 86 champion in 3rd. But look at Morgan Shepherd in car number 21, the Wood Brothers machine. We were talking about spoiler there, Neil, and there's a guy that also runs it just about as flat out as they'll allow.
Here we are inside more. He just got into the wall coming off the corner. Then you heard the big clunking inside the car, the big flat spot on the left side. Him and the 15 car got together coming off the corner just as we were talking about it. You were along for that ride, and you heard it hit the wall.
Scraping doors at 190 miles per hour here at Daytona.
And he's got to ride on pins and needles here for a couple of laps, guys. He don't know how much damage was done to that outside. Does he have a fender rubbing a tire?
Ned, not only that, also so the 15 car smoking the tires, and you can't rub a tire here but maybe one lap or two, and it'll blow out. So they'll have to come in and correct the problem.
There's Morgan Shepherd.
Okay, now on the straightaway, we don't see any smoke coming from the side. Now it looked like there was a little bit. Yeah, there is a little smoke in the turns.
Ned, you're right. There's a lot of body roll in the corner. When the car rolls over to touch the sidewalls, here he is going back around the car that got into him. These two cars here have both had a little damage.
This coming from Mark Martin's camera. These shots live here at the 500. Let's take a look and replay at what just happened.
Okay, Morgan Shepherd up on the outside of Jeff Bodine coming off of turn 4. They touch a little bit, and then Shepherd gets into the wall.
It looked like the 15 car kind of lost his footing there and just broke loose completely. 4-wheel slid up inside. You can see the marks where he got into him in the side, and then the other side banged off the wall. So they're probably going to do some work on these two cars.
Chris Economack.
Okay, the Ford, 6 Fords up front. Michael Kranovus, who runs Ford's Racing, is not happy with what he's seeing. He wants the Fords to race Chevrolet. He cautioned all of the Ford drivers last night about being careful. They're racing one another here. The Ford Motor Company has put a bonus program in effect. Every Ford victory this year will be worth $50,000, $25,000 for second, $10,000 for third, and $5,000 for a pole position. A special pole bonus of $50,000 has already gone to Junior Johnson thanks to Sterling Martin's pole position. But the Ford racing manager does not like to see what we're seeing.
Chris, I'll agree with you on that. These guys put a lot of money into the sport, but it's kind of like the Super Bowl. The guy that built the football is not going to tell you how to throw the thing. When you get in that car, you're going to drive it the way you want to drive it.
We've got another replay of what happened here, Ned.
Okay, we're inside of Mark Martin's car. He's looking at those two Fords battle side, and you can see Bodine's car gets a little loose, gets up into Morgan Shepherd, which puts Morgan up into the outside wall. No heavy contact, but it could have been serious.
Ned, I think the thing that really saved them is they were side by side. It was a square shot. They hit squarely, and it didn't hurt either car too bad.
They remain in 4th and 5th position as you see them here. That's Jeff Bodine, number 15, in 4th. And then the 21 car, battle scarred here, running right behind him in 5th. Mark Martin in 6th. Here's Mike Joy.
Leonard Wood is getting a little rough out there early. A little intramural racing here between Fords that got a little too close.
Yeah, it looked like one of them got into him, they said, and kind of put him in the wall. So he's sort of just pacing himself right now.
Now, you can't see the outside of the car. Is Morgan or your spotter telling you anything about its condition?
Yeah, our spotters are telling us, you know, that it looks all right from where he's at. So we're hoping to come in and take a look at it.
What he means is he hopes somebody else brings out the caution so they can come in and take a look at it.
Neil, I think that's the angriest I've ever seen Leonard Wood. You drove for him.
Yeah, the guy never gets excited. He's got control of things, but he doesn't like those little circles down the side of his race car. I promise you that.
That's the kind of thing that you see on the short tracks.
Back with the leaders another time, and there you see Sterling Marlin up in front with Davey Allison second. We'll return to Daytona after these messages and a word from your local station.
The Daytona 500 is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Pennzoil, the motor oil that outperforms any leading motor oil against viscosity breakdown. Kodak Gold Film. Show your true colors. Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Goodyear, who make the only tires used in the Daytona 500.
32 laps are complete of the 200 to be run today in the 34th annual Daytona 500 here on CBS. We're watching Sterling Marlin with the advantage, Davey Allison in second, and Bill Elliott is backed up a little here, folks.
Yeah, he might have lost the draft of those front two cars a little bit. Now he's closing back up a little bit again, so he's not certainly too far behind to get an effect from it.
Weather today is a little different than we've experienced in the past couple of days in the training periods. What effect is it having?
I'm not so sure that when we talked to Jack Roush earlier, he said that Mark Martin's car was pushing. In a hot track, you have loose conditions. On a cool track like this, overcast, the car's a little bit tighter. And in Ned, it looks like the guys that characteristically have tight cars are paying the price right now.
Yeah, and I think Dale Earnhardt is one of those. He normally runs a good tight race car on this racetrack, and he's not running up there where he normally would. In fact, he's dropped back to 10th position right now.
Here's Richard Petty running back in the 25th position. There's Chad Little right with him in the car number 66. Chad's had an on-again, off-again afternoon. He made a run to the front, and then the car backed up. Now, that's that roof camera on car number 43. See that shot as he pulls up behind Alan Kowicki in car number 7. You'll recall Alan is also running a backup car after he destroyed his car that had been prepared throughout the winter for the 500 in one of those crashes, the 125-mile distance on Thursday.
Ken, when you talk about destroying cars, the other day we saw that you could actually wreck another race car without touching him. The wind is so effective on these cars on this big racetrack with the aerodynamic design that they were spinning each other out without touching. Now we're seeing more gap in between each race car. There's a little more courtesy going on today than we had in the qualifying races.
Not much there as Hutch Strickland comes through on the inside. And Buddy Baker, the 81er, just charged. Look at 41. Now that's Sachs, who was all the way up in the hunt, up in the top 5. He is backed up seriously here in this race.
Yeah, he's back in 24th position, Ken. Evidently that car is very loose. As a matter of fact, he's coming into the pits right now. A little bit earlier than a normal pit stop. We've gone about 36 laps, and they should be able to go around 45 or something, but there he is in early.
Dennis Conner, the crew chief, out there. Wonder if a tire equalized here, but he's just been backing up. There's something amiss. Need to get a little better handle on car number 41. Sterling Marlin stays up in front of the lead with Davey Allison in second place. Now they're pushing up the spoiler on car number 41.
Which means the car was loose, Ken, no question about it. And the NASCAR officials there seeing them bang that up. That'll put more pressure on the rear, hold it down for him as he goes into the turns. Boy, he's losing a lot of valuable time. This is the long pit stop.
He's losing a lot of time, but he's also adding a lot of spoiler. That was several degrees they put in that car.
37 seconds he spent on pit road. Greg Sachs. back after it another time.
Now, the leaders are running about 47.5 seconds around this track, but the fact that he's in for 37 seconds, the slowdown time, getting his speed back up, he's going to actually lose about 60 seconds.
When we start looking at them working on these rear spoilers, we talk to the aero engineers from both factories. When they run these things on 30 degrees, these cars weigh 3,500 pounds. 30 degrees of spoiler means 15 pounds of lift. That means the rear wheels are off of the ground. So NASCAR says you have to run 35-degree minimum, which means 0 pounds. You can't hardly drive one of these cars with 0 pounds. We saw you go up 5 degrees, you go to about 40 or 50 pounds of lift, of downforce. All that tells you is that these cars at 200 miles an hour, you can reach with your hand and lift the rear wheels off the ground at speed.
Could just about lift up that 41 from the side blast off that car number 22 as he came through in the draft. That would set you over a little.
Yeah, it would. Now, he was just passed by Sterling Marlin, the leader. That put 2 laps down. However, the leaders are going to have to come in another 10 or so laps here for their pit stop, or maybe earlier than that.
37 laps are now complete, and there you see the 3 leaders. That's number 11 up in front, Sterling Marlin, and then here comes Davey Allison on the outside, and still in third is the number 11 of Bill Elliott. Here's David Hobbs. I'm sorry, let's go to Mike Joy.
Richard Childress owns Dale Earnhardt's car. Richard, that hammer in your hand is not to motivate your driver.
No, he's doing good, but we just got the car right now a little too tight. The weather's just changed on us. We kind of had everything set for a sunny day, and we just hated to change it. It's been running so good all week, so we're going to make some changes on the first pit stop.
The tight race car, how will you compensate for that?
Well, we'll make a spoiler adjustment and a wedge adjustment on it.
Okay, let's go to David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with Mike Beam, Sterling Marlin's crew chief. Mike, everything seems to be going so far. Is the car good?
Yeah, the car's driving very well so far. The guys on the Maxwell House car, we changed everything this morning because we've been loose after Thursday. But we're going to stop here in about probably 10 laps and kind of see our fuel mileage, because with this engine here, it never has got good fuel mileage, but it's always ran good. So was kind of hoping we get a caution here early so we wouldn't have to kind of stop about 48 laps, but hopefully everything works fine.
Are you going to pit with the other car for fuel?
They could go a little bit farther than we can, so if they want to pit with us, that's their choice, because I got to stop at 48 laps no matter what.
And you'll leave the spoiler where it is?
Yeah, the car's... The only problem I have right now, I didn't put enough tape on the front. The car's running too cool. So hopefully, if we have a caution, I can put a little tape on the front and that should help it run faster.
That's nice to have a car that's running cool.
And his car is running well up in front by some 2 car lengths.
And it's also good to have a car not only running cool, but one that's running tight enough that you can put a little tape on the front end, which will tend to loosen it up a little.
Here's the 13th place car, winner of this race. A couple of years back, Derek Cope out of Spanaway, Washington, the Whitcomb car number 10. And right with him is coming Jarrett in the 18. Dale Jarrett staying right behind Derek Cope. There you see him just traipsing into the picture up on the 31-degree banking on the east end of the speedway.
Jarrett got it beside a Cope lap before last, and they lost a little time to Rusty Wallace there. Jarrett couldn't get by Cope, so he had to fall back in line.
Let's take a look from Dale Jarrett's vantage here as he tries to chase down Derek Cope in car number 10. Good battle going on here.
Yeah, it looks like Cope's car might be getting a little bit loose. Jarrett's car is tight enough that he can go down on the inside. Now can he make the pass stick this time? He tried it a while ago.
Boy, what's tough right here is Dale's wanting to go on by, and the 10 car's a little loose. That'd be better just to let him go on by and get in behind him. But it's hard to make yourself do that. They're making that move now. They'll actually run faster once the 18 gets on in front of him.
Battle for 13th position here. Dale Jarrett driving for Joe Gibbs picks up a spot.
Well, he started 35th. He's making a pretty good run up through the field.
And that's the vantage looking back from that rear bumper cam. Pretty exciting shot.
I'll tell you what, that's at speed. That's laying it on the ground and looking at it. And these cars, I'll tell you, they've got them shaped like bullets, and they certainly drive good now.
Getting a view of Derek Cope's car right down on the ground.
There's Michael Waltrip in the 30 car, the yellow car. He's running in 8th position at the moment.
Closing in. Mark Martin right in front of him.
Yeah, and his, Michael's brother, Darrell Waltrip, the 1989 winner in the car 17.
Then right in front of them, Ernie Irvin in the number 4.
The Mark Martin car there, the one that's been exceptionally loose, he was really tight. This will help him when the 30 gets behind him. He tucks in there tight and make that car a lot more drivable.
That's that number 6 car, the blue, white, and red livery of car number 6 for Roush Racing, looking considerably different than it did 1 year ago. It was a maroon car. 43 laps now complete. Front of the field is still Sterling Marlin, the 22. And look at Darrell Waltrip coming along here, moving in on Ernie Irvan for 4th. Back up in front. Here you have Sterling Marlin there, Davey Allison, who finished 2nd in 1988, right behind his dad in one of my favorite 500s when Bobby and Davey came to the line, bumper to bumper. Today, Davey Allison carries on, and his father has Hut Strickland in car number 12 out here, who started from the very last row. Davey's driving that backup car, but don't discount that. That's
and
still
we're
a
seeing
strong
pit
horse.
stops, Ken. Jeff Bodine in car number 15 is coming in for his pit stop. We'll see a rash of them from here on in as he brings the Bud Moore Ford in. They'll go to the right side, fill it up with gasoline.
Now take a look at the side of car 15. See any real damage there?
Well, there is just some scrapes, not any. I don't think it's anything that's hurt him. Certainly they've run a long time since he and Morgan Shepherd had that little scrape. They only changed the right side tires. That might be significant. Most of the time they've been changing all 4 tires, but Goodyear has a good set of tires here for this race, and apparently they feel comfortable with just 2.
15 and 8/10 seconds. Jeff Bodine is back out, and Dave Marcus is on pit road right now. Pit stops under green. They're averaging 187 miles per hour here in the Daytona 500, the 34th edition. On CBS, waiting now for Sterling Marlin's team to come in. We're also seeing Terry Labonte pull onto pit road. Standings as we come to this green flag pit stop period. Back with more shortly.
Sterling Marlin making a green flag pit stop. Mike Powell putting on board there, changing the left side tires as well. This car's been running very good. No handling problems, but they've decided to change the left side tires. A quick stop there, a mass of pit stops. Sterling Marlin, being the pole sitter, was able to choose a pit that had no pit in front of him, so he can make a quicker exit than some of the others. But nevertheless, a real scramble down here in pit lane.
Richard Petty pulling on pit road, running 27th in the 500. Bill Elliott, who had appropriated first place, he's pulling onto pit road now, as is Ernie Irvan. The entire field taking a green flag stop here. Mike Joy.
Bill Elliott will get 4 tires and fuel. Crew chief Tim Brewer works the right front, while Mike Hill has the right rear tire already off. Darrell Andrews is carrying tires around while Henry Benfield fuels the car. Here comes the jack for Mark Cass, and the left side goes up in the air, and both right side tire changers come around and hammer home the 5 lug nuts on each wheel. It'll put Bill Elliott back in the race.
Darrell Waltrip inherited first place briefly. While all of this was, let's go back to David Haas.
Martin coming in for a pit stop. Fuel going in, and they're going to change the spoiler. There's the mechanic the high-tech way. Hitting the spoiler down at the back. The inclinometer on. Wheels spinning, smoke pouring off the tires as Mark Martin rejoins the fray.
Well, I tell you, you think Gary Nelson hasn't got their attention. They don't touch that rear spoiler without having that angle finder to make sure they're not below limit.
Now, while we were away, car number 15, we saw him start to come on pit road. He went out too quickly over the speed limit, was brought back on pit road. While he came in, he changed left side tires.
Yeah, we pointed out that he only changed his right side tires the first time he was in, but he went out over the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is the speed limit today on pit road, and it cost him.
Here's Hut Strickland's number 12 going up in the air. How do they know they're going too fast?
The big sky, eye in the sky. Nobody knows where the meter is, but NASCAR has something that tells them when they're coming down too fast, and they'll use that thing. We never have been able to find it. Again, they've been telling us that they're using areas. You know, they check an area from one distance to the next with a stopwatch. We never have been able to find a radar gun. If they've got it hidden pretty good.
You're hiding behind a signboard.
I'll tell you somebody that made a good move then, Ned, on that thing is everybody stopped and got 4 tires. Davey Allison got 2. When this thing shakes out, he should be leading the group.
Yeah, after Ken Schrader, who's gets very good gas mileage on this Hendrick Motorsports car number 25. He's the leader of the race. It took, 49 laps for a Chevrolet to get out front.
Now there's Dorsey Schrader coming in. What a story that is. He's driving that Donlevy car out of Richmond, Virginia. He had a very good qualifying run. Looked pretty good out here in the 125s. He's a former Trans Am champion, a road racer, but he really belongs in these cars. He's a stock car driver. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, they're probably running more spoiler than anyone in this race. 46 degrees. The veteran grizzled crew chief Judy Donlevy. Mike Smith's trying to get that left side up in the air. A little slow with it this time. Bit of Jack Roush influence in this car and a Mark Martin engine under the hood. Probably America's most talented road racer, getting some great super speedway experience here. Dorsey Schrader's back in the race.
There's a guy to watch.
I tell you, Ken, the thing about him, no matter what he gets in, he's just a racer. And he runs fast. He likes these stock cars. And Judy Donlevy can give him a car on a given day that can win races.
There you see some of the infield crammed, packed to capacity here at Daytona today. Just an immense throng gathering for this 500. It's like the biggest in history, Ned.
Yes, I think it is by far the biggest in history. And as Chris Economack pointed out at the top of the show, a great deal of that is because of Richard Petty running in his final Daytona 500.
They're showing the Schrader car still as the leader, has yet to come in through 53 laps, 56, and he's going to be breathing fumes out here. That 28 car you saw, Davey Allison, is being shown in second place.
Yeah, that two-tire stop is really going to put him in the driver's seat after this caution. I mean, after these pit stops, because the second place guy behind Davey is way, way back by taking the other two tires on.
Now remember the record for this race, 177 miles an hour, Buddy Baker. Right now they're averaging well over that at 186.7 miles per hour. Schrader and Allison setting the pace in the 34th annual Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Back at Daytona, the leader, Davey Allison, car number 28, after Ken Schrader has just made a pit stop. He ran it right to the edge, about 54 laps, before he brought that car number 25 on pit road. Remember that Atlanta last spring, by making one less pit stop, he came home the winner. So Schrader will be a big factor before this is over. Let's take another look at that pit stop made by Schrader and company for the Hendrick Racing Stables. Neil?
Here Ken came in. He's holding it down to the speed limit. You got to be slow coming in and not get over this. They're coming in for tires. We were questioning, was this car really good? Did he need to change anything? They're over there putting two tires on the right side. Ken's getting him a drink right here. And we want to look and see, the key is, do they make a chassis adjustment? Do they do anything to the rear of the car? They left that alone. But watch right here on the screen. Right here, this guy's circling where I circled. He's turning a jack screw, which in turn puts bite in that car. He needed a little bit of help to make that car drive better.
Back out at 65 miles an hour, and between that and those restrictor plates, it takes a long time to come back to speed. Almost a half a lap on this 2.5-mile track.
Oh, it takes a lap and a half to get your full speed up.
Let's go to Mike Joy.
Richard Broom is a former champion drag race driver, and now he's hit the Quinella. Richard, looks like you've got plenty of gas mileage and plenty of horsepower.
Well, we're looking pretty good. Tire wear, I don't think is a factor. In other words, we are getting good fuel mileage, so we're just going to sit here and ride and see where we wind up.
Again, there's a possibility up and down pit road here that some teams may be able to go this race on just one change of left side tires and only two changes of right side tires.
Schrader's being shown in the 10th position after that pit stop.
Yeah, and I tell you, as far as he went, if this thing should go green all the way, I tell you, he's going to have a whale of a chance of winning this thing because of that gas mileage.
Second, third, and fourth positions here. Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott, Ernie Irvin. The 11 car, part of that Junior Johnson stable, comes back to the line through the 17-degree banking. Not one caution through the first 59 laps of this 34th annual Daytona 500.
Well,
Did you expect anything like this?
Ken, after what we saw Thursday, you'd say, yeah, I expect it, but I'm not so sure it didn't scare these guys straight. They watched all the wrecks on Thursday. They saw how many race cars were totally destroyed. They've got to use their head in this race and worry about getting to the end before you can worry about winning it.
Come on, I thought nothing ever scared you guys when you're out there running this race.
Yeah, but I tore up a lot of race cars holding the wrong pedal down all day long.
Well, Davey Allison enjoys almost an 11-second lead now over Sterling Marlin. who is running in second place. And the reason for that was, as you pointed out, Neil, he only took on 2 tires, and Sterling Marlin took on 4.
There's Davey Allison, the leader, and now we'll get a glimpse of the interval between this first-place car and the second, third, and fourth. There's the number 15 being shown now, a lap down in 22nd position. That number 15 of Jeff Bodine. There's 28 Allison, followed by Bodine, a lap down to the leader. And here's the remainder of those cars that are up in that lead battle. There's the leader out of turn number 4. You can see he's building up a whopper at the present time. Davey Allison looking stout. Number 11. For the 3rd time in his career, he has a pole position coming in here, and all of those poles have been in restrictor plate racing.
Ken, these guys that are chasing Davey, they know he's out there. Here's 4 kind of ganging up to try to run him down. But the blessing for Davey was a mistake by the 15 car. He got penalized, had to make 2 stops. He just happened to come out when Davey was running. So Davey's got a dancing partner that normally wouldn't be there. If he was by himself, those 4 or 5 cars should be able to run him right back down, shouldn't they, Ned?
Yeah, they should be.
We're going to give you a clock interval in just a moment. Davey Allison hitched up in a draft with Jeff Bodine 1 lap down. 61 laps are now complete, and here comes a glimpse of the interval that Davey Allison has over the field. And remember, this is his backup car. But that's the car that had set on the pole. That's the car that nearly won the race a year ago before it was in that crash in turn number 2.
And Ken, he is lengthening his advantage a little bit. It was about 10 and 9/10 seconds by our unofficial watch. Now it's moved up to 11.3 seconds. So he's gradually, with the help of Jeff Bodine, pulling away a little bit.
Let's put it in football talk. These cars travel a football field a second. If Joe Gibbs is wanting to know, they're 12 football fields ahead of second place. So, Davey, somebody's got to get busy in a hurry.
Leaderboard looking like this. Allison first, then Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott, Ernie Irvin, followed by Morgan Shepherd 5th, Darrell Waltrip 6th, Michael Waltrip 7th. Earnhardt is back in 8th spot, while in 9th is Dale Jarrett, and in the 10th position is car number 25. That's Schrader. Harry Gant getting lapped in the number 33. There's the Schrader car. Neil, he went 137.5 miles, plus those 3 pace laps on a tank of fuel.
I'll be the first one to tell you, if Gary Nelson wasn't in that garage area, I'd say these guys have got a big gas tank. But there's no big gas tanks in this garage area anymore after the inspection was on. They're just working on mileage.
Yes, there are. There's a dozen of them in the back of the NASCAR truck over there.
But not on these race cars.
Here's David Hobbs.
Hi, Robert Yates. The old man doing extremely well at the moment.
Yeah, well, no, we're just hoping to keep it up.
You're getting a good draft there from Jeff Bodine. You're getting a good draft from Jeff Bodine.
Yeah, it's, worked out. So he was there. You have to have a helper here. And then we started catching this other pack, so we've been picking up a little bit on Sterling.
And your fuel consumption looks real good.
Well, they don't use much air, and you don't put much fuel with them. They go pretty good ways.
Thank you. So everything running pretty good down here in the Davey Allison pit.
Here they are lapping Phil Barkdahl's car number 73, making it look easy out here.
Now, Phil Barkdahl was scheduled to get out of that car and put Jim Sauter in it at the first caution. He had hoped to get out early, but he's still out there driving.
And the way things are going, the first flag he might see be the black and white. The checker would be over.
Running 33rd is Barkdahl. And there's Alan Kowicki, another one of those drivers. 17 of them in total. Victims of bad wrecks back here on Thursday. Pulls up on the outside, lets him scamper through. Alan Kowicki was running on the tail end of the lead lap. He was back in the 17th position, and he's just getting overtaken by the leader, Davey Allison, here, as you see.
When they were talking to Robert Yates in the pits just a minute ago, we missed a big thing there. This 28 car did as we talked earlier. He got 2 tires. In turn, he's lapping quality race cars. The 7 car, Kowicki, is a potential winner in this race. They gamble with 2 tires, and it's really, really paying off.
Showing 64 laps complete here, averaging better than 185 miles an hour. It's Davey Allison leading in the 34th annual Daytona 500. And here at the present time, Davey Allison has this race all to himself. Our blimp today, sporting its new look, Goodyear Spirit of Akron. Spirit's trip to Daytona for today's telecast, courtesy of Goodyear Tires, giving us these incredible shots of this gigantic sports event. Turning it into his own personal playpen this afternoon, Davey Allison in car number 28, averaging 185 miles an hour, trying to make this thing a walkover. I can't believe it's going to stay like this.
Well, it's hard to think that it would, but that pit stop, just taking on those 2 tires, and I'll tell you, he's impressive out there running as fast as he is, and only took on 2 tires while some others took on 4, but that car is really handling well for him.
Here's Mike Joy with Richard Childress.
To that green flag pit stop. How's Dale saying the car is now?
It's still pushing right now. You know, we're just going to have to try to wait and see if we can make an adjustment after on another stop.
You've only got a limited number of things you can change here on pit road. Can you make a drastic enough change to suit him and today's weather?
Well, we don't know. Right now, we're a little scared to go too far with the spoiler because you got the 35-degree rule. And, you know, we've took some wedge out and spoiler. We're just going to try a couple of more things next stop.
Well, Richard Childress is a familiar face on pit road. You know the story from Waterboy to Superstar. Here's a twist. David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with another Redskin down here, and that's a very famous one, Mark Rippon, who had such a great week just 3 weeks ago. What do you think of this event?
Well, it's a little different from football, Dave, but, you know, I'm having a blast down here. The whole week's been action-packed, been a lot of fun for me. They've made me a race fan. I guess, you know, watching on TV is a lot different from actually seeing it in person, and I get a big kick out of this.
You don't get nervous feeling that Joe Gibbs is just watching over you just up the road there?
Yeah, first time we've competed against each other. It's, you know, I know it's something that he's really been fond of all his life, and he's getting a chance to fulfill a dream, and for me, to be at Daytona is one of the things that in life a lot of people don't get a chance to achieve, but I'm happy to be here and having a blast.
You went to school with Chad Little, and he's running 24th right now. Do you know how the car's running?
Well, Chad and I, you know, he played high school football against each other and then went to college together, so we've had a good friendship. He came up to the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago and just had a good time enjoying our friendship.
The rumor was you went over the wall just a few minutes ago. Is that true?
No, I didn't. I was handing water. I stay way back here. When the cars come in close, I go back.
This guy's far too valuable to go jumping around over walls with gas cans.
And there's the car he's working on. That's the Cale Yarborough Racing Team. Chad Little. Here you see the position he's currently running in and about to be put a lap down by Darrell Waltrip.
And Darrell Waltrip running in the 6th position at the moment. Darrell having a good run today.
We haven't heard a lot from Darrell this week. He showed a lot of signs early in the 125, and now it looks like on race day, as always, he's got his car handled properly.
It's green flag racing all the way thus far here.
Well, there are 16 cars in the lead lap now. And, you know, there was a lot said about Fords and Chevrolets coming in here. Of course, the Ford showed the speeds in qualifying, and they're showing the speed here today, too, Ken, because Fords have led 65 of the 72 laps. Chevrolet has led 7.
Petty's roof cam. I think we're seeing some water there. Maybe it's just something picked off the track. Back straightaway here.
Over the radio system, they're saying that there is a little sprinkle on the back straightaway, and it's showing up on that counter.
Completed 73 laps. Check on the weather right here. Mike Joy has a story for us.
Bob, we're now getting a steady sprinkle all around the speedway and here on pit road. A light rain won't much bother these cars, even with their slick tires. The surface of the asphalt stays very gray. But if it begins to darken and gets black, the cars will start to lose adhesion, and NASCAR will be obligated to put out the caution flag.
Well, Goodyear has brought the hardest compound they have for this race, the same one they use at Talladega, and there you get a glimpse of some of the weather over Daytona. How about it? What's it feel like out there, Neil?
I tell you, with these radials, and these tires do not have any tread at all on them. A heavy dew, and they're dangerous. So if there's any rain coming at all, you'll probably see them slow them down, dry it off. But if it gets questionable, you'll see NASCAR slow them down.
Leader Davey Allison coming by, putting a lap on Dave Marcus. Here's David Hobbs.
Davey Allison pit. They're all getting ready for the worst. Standing up by the pit wall, tires at the ready, but the rain actually seems to be just dying out just a little bit. It's more of a heavy mist than rain. And of course the track and the tires at the moment are at their maximum temperature, so any water just goes instantly. It touches those fat donut tires. But let's hope it doesn't rain and spoil what could be a record-breaking race. And they may have pitted 2 laps too soon last time in this pit, so they may have a long way to run on this particular green flag run.
185 miles an hour, and you saw them covering up the tires over there along pit road. And it does look like it's getting a little precipitation out there. Let's show you some of the past leaders as we follow Davey Allison around this track. Back in 1959, it was Gene Petty winning that first one. It took 3 days to decide who won. And next year it was Gene. Remember that one? That was when Bobby John spun, John spins, and Johnson wins. Freddie Lorenzen in 65. That was the year of rain. 68, Kelly Yarborough with that great run, and Leroy in 69. A.J. in 72 for the Wood brothers. Those wonderful years of Richard Petty. 79 when CBS first started covering this event, and Buddy Baker with that very quick one in 1980, the fastest to date. In 83 and 84, the first time we really had those in-car cameras to show folks what it was like out there was with the great Cale Yarborough. There you are to last year, 1991, when Ernie Irvan pulled the big surprise after that melee with 4 laps to go that eliminated Kyle Petty and the number 3 of Earnhardt and Davey Allison.
Neil Bonnet came close to winning several of these 500, led a lot of laps. I think I read where he led about 9 or 10 different Daytona 500s, Neil, and led a lot of laps, but just couldn't lead the right one.
Boy, I tell you, Ned, I led this thing a couple of times. I led it one time to 3 to go and blew up coming through the tri-oval here. And I tell you, it's disheartening, but I certainly had a good time racing this speedway. It's an ultimate experience, just like the Super Bowl.
Well, wait a minute. Back in the good old days, real racers, Ned Jarrett was up in this hunt, too. He nearly had this race in hand one time.
63. Got to within 2 laps and ran out of gas. Not a miscalculation. It just had a long green flag running, and we just packed all we could on the last pit stop, packed all the gas in we could, but just not enough to go to the end.
Far more technical today, Ned, than then?
Oh, yes, it's much more technical and much more scientific, too. We didn't really know how to figure the gas mileage quite as close. I mean, you know, we could divide, we had 20-gallon gas tanks back then. If we got 4 miles to the gallon, well, you know, you divide it in there, and you know what kind of mileage you get, but we didn't get down into the thousands.
Neil, you led 9 of these 500-mile races in Daytona here. Really takes something to get a car to perform that well when you've got the 42 best out here.
It helps to be just a little bit crazy, too, and I had that part of it on the wrong side.
Here's Chris Economaki.
It was 20 years ago today that A.J. Foyt won the Daytona 500. And 10 years ago this week, he made his first announcement about possibly retiring. He's out there number 14. He's having a tough season. This is his 3rd car at Daytona. He wrecked in practice, and he wrecked Thursday. And his first race in Phoenix, he wrecked there. In Thursday's crash, he hit so hard, he thought he lost an eye. His crash helmet was turned around, and it blocked one eye. I saw him the night of the race of the accident. Both of his ears were black and blue. He's a tough old bird, but yet he just will not give up. A.J. Foyt.
Currently running 37th position. That was the Eddie Bierswale car a couple of days ago that A.J. is foraging on with this afternoon.
I'll tell you what I'm surprised to see. A.J. Foyt's car with a yellow bumper on the back of it. Yellow stands for rookie. And hey, it's a wonder A.J. didn't rip the bumper off before he got in the car.
That just happened to be the way that this car was painted.
Mike Joy.
Tex Powell is the crew chief for A.J. Foyt, and he's on his 3rd race car this week. A loner racer. How's it working out for you?
Well, we had some problems on the fuel stop. The cars, they were kind of a result of using our probes in another car and that kind of business, but the car's working well right now.
How's A.J. working? How's he feeling?
Well, he's doing real good. He's enthusiastic and really wanting to go to the front.
Thanks, Tex.
Ricky Rudd, who had been running in 13th position, off the pace, slowing down, car number 5. Chesapeake, Virginia driver having a problem out here. Here's number 5 all the way down on the apron.
And you talk about a turnaround. This is the car that was the most consistent last year. Finished more laps than anybody on the circuit. 2nd in the points battle. Boy, this is critical falling out this early in this race.
Well, we don't know what the problem is, whether it's terminal or not, but it's certainly not a scheduled pit stop. He slowed as he went down the backstretch, now coasting into the pits, and certainly that is not a good sign.
He would be the third car to retire if that's the case. Brett Bodine and Chad already out. We'll return to the Daytona Speedway after these messages and a word from your local station. Well, we're back with you at Daytona, and in our live coverage, as we get up toward the halfway mark, we have a rain condition out here now. A scattered shower has brought out the first caution of the day, and here's David Hobbs.
We're in the lead of Davey Allison's pit. This is going to be a 4-tire change. They've taken the wheels off. They haven't jacked this side of it. The inside being jacked up. The wheels come off, and we believe they're going to do some work on those rear springs. No, they didn't do it. Gas still going in. Mike Joy.
Sterling Marlin completes his service. It's a 4-tire change on that car. And with me, Phil Mayer, Olympic ski champion. And he's here in the Maxwell House pits. He's a racer. He's an SCCA national champion of the GT class this year. Sterling had a little bit of a push. Now, when you get one on your skis, what do you do to compensate?
Well, I tell you, it's a little bit different out here. You know, you got a whole crew to work with you on your skis. It's nobody but your own fault. But first off, I'd like to thank Maxwell House for having me out for this event.
Enjoying the Daytona 500?
So far, it's been great, and hopefully Sterling will run to the front here. You know, he's run up in the top there, and that's the main thing. Got to stay there at the end.
You're quite a racer. Would you like to run one of these someday?
Well, I don't know if I want to go roundy round, but you know, you never know.
Don't knock it till you tried it. How about our American skiers in the Olympics this year?
Well, I think it's been a good year this year. Our women's team, you know, we've had a surprise yesterday with Hillary Lynn winning the silver medal, and the men's program, hopefully things will, you know, form better for them in 94.
Okay, thanks for being with us, and of course lots more Olympic coverage coming up on CBS after the Daytona 500. Ken?
Here you see the number 22. It's the car that the mayor is working on today. Sterling Marlin seeking his first 500 win. And let's go down through the field while we have a moment here in this yellow condition created by a shower here at the Daytona Speedway, with Davey Allison after 83 laps leading and setting a record pace. The old record, Bill Elliott, for the 80-lap rundown was 176.211 back in 1985. And today they're up to 185. Now all of a sudden the weatherman stumbles onto the scene, and that could change the situation and not give us a record. Sure looked like we were on our way.
Now the top 16 are in the lead lap, Ken. You saw that Jeff Bodine was in 16th there. He got around Davey Allison as they were coming back to the start-finish line. We had seen him drafting on Davey up to that point, but when the caution came out, I think Davey just let him go because he appreciated the help that he'd been getting up to that point out on the racetrack.
I tell you, that goes a long way. You remember when somebody helped you and when they kind of cut you short, and for the last 30 laps, he'd been getting a little bit of help, and I think he paid him back off.
Well, that could mean that Jeff Bodine, the 86 champion, could be right back in this thing to win it today, thanks to Davey Allison. I'm surprised he let him through. I mean, that's a real serious contender. The overhead shots today from the Goodyear blimp Spirit of Akron. The Spirit's new look required more than 85 gallons of blue and yellow paint and 3,800 square feet of decals up there in the sky.
Well, more than these race cars have on them, huh?
Almost.
Just about the amount of decal on a driver's uniform.
So what does this do to us? We're under caution. We have a slight shower on the track, and
I think it's the first opportunity that these teams have had to make major surgery. When you stop and you're in there for 12 seconds putting tires on, you don't have the luxury of changing the jack screws, working on the spoiler, and just giving a car a general tune-up. Ned, this time, really gives them an opportunity to fix them.
Yes, it does. It's the first opportunity, as you say, to get in there and work on those cars. And we saw Dale Earnhardt make, all the front runners have made pit stops already. We saw Earnhardt in the pits. He normally is one of the faster ones out of the pits. His crew really does a good job. But they stayed in there. They worked on that spoiler a little bit and took a little extra time during this caution period to do that, so the car will handle better for you.
There are 19 cars with these pit stops taking place now being shown in the lead lap net, and the car on the tail end of all of that is the car number 9, which is the old Bill Elliott ride. Phil Parsons at the controls of that. He ducked a couple of bullets here in the 125s. Here's Richard Petty's car coming down through the tri-oval area of the speedway underneath the flag stand. Richard still holding on very well in this race.
Shown in 17th
position. And now they're showing us 16 cars again in that lead lap. They've gone back to Parsons as 19 cars in the lead lap, and they're changing that at this very moment to 16 automobiles up in front. By now, it's been well documented that Richard Petty is one of the most popular and well-known celebrities in all of sports. But what specifically has he meant to stock car racing? Chris Economaki has our answer.
More than any other driver, Richard Petty defines stock car racing. Let me put that in perspective. When Richard Petty was beginning his string of a record 200 victories, Bob Cousy and John Havlicek played for the Boston Celtics. Y.A. Tittle, quarterback for the New York Giants, and Pat Summerall was their kicker. Madeline Maris played for the New York Yankees. And with the Olympics underway, we should remember that when the Petty career began, the U.S. won the hockey gold medal at Squaw Valley. Richard Petty has been all these people to stock car racing. But more than that, he has been the best ticket seller the sport has ever known. Richard Petty is why the stands are full today, why they're full at every other stop on the Winston Cup circuit. The accomplishments are impressive. 200 wins, 7 championships, and 7 triumphs in the Daytona 500. But his most notable contribution is what he has given his fans.
When I was little, really little, we'd go to the racetracks and the race would be over. Then when everybody else had left the racetrack and all the trucks were gone, we'd still be playing football in the infield waiting on my father to get through signing autographs because he'd still be sitting on pit wall. So he just always took a lot of time for the fans. And I think that's his main deal in his last year doing his fan appreciation tour was to say thank you for all the fans that waited right along with him just to get to see him and let him sign autographs.
He's been, as much as anybody, a tremendous asset to the sport. And this goes over decades of racing.
The multitude of the Kings fans have remained true blue over the years, and all proudly fly his colors. They pay tribute to him in some of the most unlikely settings. That, number 43, is no coincidence.
And when I was a young boy, my father was a big stock car fan. We'd sit at home and watch the races, and he'd always speak of Richard Petty. He really loved Richard Petty, and he took me to a race in Daytona. It's been eons ago, and a little kid standing there at the fence looking through in the pits and looking around, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Petty," I waved at him. I remember he was, at least 100 yards away, and he took time. He saw me stand there, a little kid. He walked all the way across the pit area and talked to me and gave me an autograph, and it just made just one heck of an impression on me. And he's one of my idols and one of my heroes today, and he's a living legend, and he's got me indulged in this sport.
You can go anywhere and say, have you heard of Rusty Wallace? Well, no. Have you heard of Richard Petty? Oh, yeah, I heard of Richard Petty. Have you heard of Dale Earnhardt? No. Heard of Richard Petty? Yeah, I heard of Richard Petty. So everybody's heard of Richard Petty.
Richard Petty made winning look easy, but his victories were hard fought against the toughest competitors any sportsman ever faced.
Well, the biggest thing that stands out in my mind about Richard right now is when he beat me out by a foot down here for his 200th win. That was a terrific race, and we had a good time there. But not really one thing stands out in my mind about Richard Petty. He's been a great competitor, a friend, and we have really enjoyed ourselves throughout our racing career.
As far as I'm concerned, he is the king of Winston Cup racing. He'll always be the king, and I'm pretty sure that's the way everybody will remember him. As long as they do, then that'll be fine with me.
Linda Petty and her friends watching the race as she always does in the infield. She won't take a seat in the grandstand. She's usually parked well into the infield to watch these events with some of her friends. Richard Petty has said the easiest thing to do is to be nice to people.
And he has been nice to a lot of them over the years.
Family gathered down there.
Here's the family member right here fixing to go back to work.
Currently, Richard Petty, car number 43, in 19th position, 1 lap down. Going green this time by.
And Bill Elliott is the leader.
88 laps are now complete. Sterling Marlin is second, Ernie Irvin is third, Davey Allison fourth, Morgan Shepherd fifth. As they come to the line, it will be Waltrip sixth, Michael Waltrip seventh, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and Dale Earnhardt round out the top 10. Here's David Hobbs.
Well, in that pit stop, a lot of changes were made to these cars, and you're always seeing the mechanics dive in with the big wrench, and they frantically screw the screw. Well, what they're doing is they are preloading, or not preloading, this spring here. The more the spring is preloaded, the less grip that wheel has. Davey Allison, the leader, took out 2 of these rubber spaces, one from each rear spring. His car was just a little bit loose. Unusual for the leader to do that.
Restart. Lap cars on the inside, cars in the lead lap on the outside as they break toward turn 1.
Well, this is the first time we've seen them bunched up in a while, fellas. We're going to see some good, close, hard racing here now.
What's going to be interesting is there a different complexion to the race. Did anybody help themselves or did anybody hurt themselves? It'll shake out in just a minute.
Right in here behind, Dale Jarrett's car number 18. Mark Martin's camera taking you right up underneath that automobile, that Chevy.
And the fast car, those that are into the lead lap, were on the outside on the restart of this race, and they're running in single file. Now, Bill Elliott dips down to the inside once he has cleared the first car that was a lap down, which was Alan Kowicki.
From Morgan Shepherd's viewpoint, in 5th spot, closing on 4th place, Davey Allison at over 190 miles per hour with our live coverage of the Great American Race.
There's a good shot of Dale Jarrett in there. These cars have power steering on them. It's not the big battle that it used to be. It's more finesse than strength right now.
There you see the number 11. Elliott first, Marlin second. And those Junior Johnson cars are back 1 and 2 another time.
And the Chevrolet of Ernie Irvin running in 3rd place.
4th is Davey Allison. That bumper shot from Mark Martin's vantage, nose of his automobile. He closes in once again on the Dale Jarrett, number 18, running in 8th. Martin back in 9th. Back they come to the tri-oval another time. 5 cars locked together up in front. It's been a beautiful race. Only stop, 1 caution. We got a battle for the lead because of a shower just moments ago. And they're about to make it 3 wide off the banking. Ernie Irvin down on the inside of number 4. Storms into the lead in the back straightaway. Ernie Irvin out of Modesto, California. Hits. He's into Elliott. They're sliding, trying to correct. Picked them up. Into the wall goes Sterling Marlin. And the leaders are all in trouble here. Richard Petty's car getting hit. A serious crash in the back straightaway. Petty is in it. Darrell Waltrip is involved.
Dale Earnhardt is involved. This is what happens when you get all the cars running close together again.
And look at number 2. Bad moment here for Rusty Wallace. Caution is out as 3 cars battle for the lead. Waltrip in the same area where he rolled over 8 times the 4th of July. This time he just slides across the grass. Irvin's car comes to rest. Rusty Wallace's car is there.
Hut Strickland got a lot of damage. He came on around, but he had a lot of damage to his car.
I believe that's Petty's car. Here's Mark Martin trying to get refired. A major crash, the very head of the field on a restart.
There's Rusty Wallace out of his car walking around.
And look at Sterling Marlin's number 22. Destroyed in the front end. Sterling Marlin still looking for his first Winston Cup win. There's his crew chief, Mike Beam, who just can't believe it. And here's Mark Martin's number 6, the Roush Racing team. That car coming in, and here's Mark having to look out the side to get his car back onto pit road.
Yeah, he's going to see where he's going, Ed. He's just having to look out the side of the window. That thing is wiped out. It'll be hard. They might get it back where to finish, but it won't race again.
Yeah, they'll try to get it where he can finish the race, but just try to get as many points as he possibly can, but he'll never be competitive again today.
The number 18 car, that is Dale Jarrett, just sitting there, has taken the helmet off. His day is over. He knows that it's finished with 92 laps complete. Here's the number 3 car of Earnhardt coming onto pit road.
Yeah, Dale was backing down off the 4th turn. He came down in reverse and spun around, so he must have got caught in the grass over there. Looks like he's
came over the line a little.
Yep.
Let's take a look again at what happened here.
Okay, as they came off of turn 2, well, we're back on Earnhardt's car as they work on that Chevrolet. Most of the damage is on the left side. They'll get him back out there so that he can circle this track and make some points, but I don't think he'll be real competitive again. Okay, we're going to take a look now at the wreck as it happened Sterling Marlin down on the inside of Bill Elliott. Then Ernie Irvin came down on the inside of them. They all got together, couldn't get loose, and the other cars behind them just had nowhere to go once they started spinning. Here they're coming off of turn 2. See Elliott up on the outside in the red number 11, Sterling Marlin in car number 22, and
take a look at what happens here as the number 4 draws off that second corner from this vantage point. Neil?
Ken, I tell you, one problem we've had is when the cars get 2 abreast, that gives a problem. When they get 3 abreast, that's what really gives them a problem. It gets the cars moving around. The aero engineers told them, said 2 abreast is going to be tricky. 3 is going to almost be a certain wreck. Here they go. There's 3 abreast. They get tangled up. Davey Allison slid by on the outside, but these other guys, it's too late now. There comes Dale Jarrett in. Boy, I tell you, he's running good, and he's wadded up in it. Here comes Mark Martin. He's in it.
Gets his nose.
Earnhardt clips him at the same time.
Earnhardt took a far bigger hit than we might have thought. Kowicki in it. Morgan Shepherd got through Davey Allison in that early going from Richard Petty's camera on the top of that number 43. Watch this.
He's following along behind Alan Kowicki, and he has seen the wreck, so he slows it. He cuts it down onto the inside, onto the grass area, and you can see the hood come up when he went across that grass. Apparently, it knocked the front spoiler up, and he's taking a ride down towards Lake Lloyd. Spinning around.
Second, third time around for Petty. Here's Mike Joy.
Junior Johnson has the Tim snips. Tim Brewer has a long bar to gain some tire clearance, and Bill Elliott apparently has no brakes. He came in here, and they really helped haul this car to a stop with about 6 people, and the car is now being brought back behind the wall. Junior, what's the worst of the trouble? What's the worst of the trouble, Junior?
This ain't seen enough yet to know.
Okay. They're going to pull out behind the wall, and we'll get a better look. Here's David Hobbs.
Martin, what happened out there?
I have no idea. All I could see was smoke and cars spinning and crashing. I couldn't see really what happened.
Your car looks pretty badly damaged. You going to try and get back in the running?
We're going to try.
On the front end of Mark Martin's car, number 6. Let's take a look at another replay. Neil?
We'll get a shot of them here. Here they are working on Mark Martin's car, trying to get ready to go back out. Boy, I tell you, they're going to totally destroy it now. Just take the front off where he can ride and finish the race. Here we are coming off the second turn. We've got 3 cars side by side. This is the big no-no right here. Right now, when you look at these cars, you've got a car sitting out here on the outside. You've got the car of Bill Elliott's. You've got the 4 car of Ernie Irvin here. The guy in the middle is the one that's in trouble. They'll tell you these outside cars, the outside, the inside are okay. The guy in the middle is going to pay the price. As they come on down the racetrack, we'll see them just start coming together. The 4 cars moving up. A lot of that has got to do with aerodynamics. It looked like they moved over, but the guy in the middle doesn't have any downforce, and he's along for the ride. The 2 guys pinched him in the middle, and from there on, everybody's wrecked.
Mike Joy.
They are stringing Richard Petty's car. They are measuring the distance between the center line of the front and the rear wheels to make sure it's not been knocked out of alignment. They chopped a quick hole in the fender and attached a bungee cord to keep the hood down. Now some of that 200-mile-an-hour tape is going on. As for the King, well, his throne is a little disheveled, but Richard gave the crew a nod. He is okay after that fracas. In the back straightaway, his aerodynamics will be spoiled a little bit, but he'll be back out of the Daytona 500. David Hobbs?
Yeah, I'm right. Bill Elliott, what happened out there then?
I don't know. Next thing I knew, I turned sideways, and that was it.
But the car was running very good, and it doesn't look all that bad at the front, not compared to Mark Martin's. How bad is it?
It's bad. It crushed all the left front end on it, and it'll take a while to fix it.
Yeah, pretty disappointing start to the season. What caused it?
I don't know. You know, next thing I knew, I was turned left into the 4 car. That's all I know.
There you have it, straight from the horse's mouth.
Here's a replay from inside of Mark Martin's car. This incident coming out of turn 2.
Now, Mark was running in 9th position right behind Dale Jarrett, and you can see, he said he saw a bunch of smoke, and you can see he didn't see anything. Once he got in to the wreck, you could hear it, all the cramming and banging. Finally, things cleared up a little bit, and he's still trying to turn the steering wheel. Now he's trying to fire the engine. He wants to get back to the pits as quickly as he can. He's got it fired. He don't know how much damage he's done to the car, but he's going to get her back to the pits.
After a 192-mile-an-hour wallop, His first thought's to get right back in and get into this thing.
Ken, I've had people ask me over and over, what do you think about it? There's nothing to think about. It happened so quick.
Here's Mike Joy.
Darrell Waltrip's car sits 100 feet from victory lane, and Darrell is looking where he sat here just a couple of years before. But his Chevrolet is well torn up. Jeff Hammond and crew have a lot of work to do. The sheet metal is just ripped lengthwise from part of this collision, and they're also working in the trunk and hoping there's no rear suspension damage. Darrell, what happened?
When we come off the corner over there, Mike, Sterling and Bill got up on the outside, and I guess Sterling didn't know he was there, and they got tied together, and excuse me, they got tied together. When they came apart, they went different directions and just took all of us out with them. Somebody hit me in the side here, but you know, I'm going to get back out, but I guess our chances for today are over with. Seamus, this is the best car I've ever had at Daytona.
What's the worst part of the damage?
The worst part right now is we've got a hole in the radiator, and we've got a bent trailing arm, and the trailing arm is probably the most serious thing. It's going to take some time to replace it.
And the car won't run straight down the track until that work is done. Doug Rickert, Jeff Hammond, and crew hard at work underneath this car.
One of the crew members not here today, Jake Elder, who's been here ever since 1962, not in that crew today. Hope he and Debbie are doing well back in North Carolina. Now, we've got another opportunity to look at this thing and listen to what happens when you have this kind of an incident at these kind of speeds at Daytona.
Neil, that's a wild ride to have to take. You can't see. Once those cars started spinning in front of him, all of that smoke came up. He couldn't see where he was going, didn't know what he was going to hit.
It's no different than going down the interstate and running into fog. The normal thing you do is lift. In racing, you just can't lift. We were talking about it taking one lap to get up to speed. It takes 1.25 miles to stop these cars from the full speed, and you can't stop it in a short distance. And once it gets going, it's kind of funny to watch it on TV. For me, unique. I remember you get in a wreck, the first thing you reach for that switch. Hey, I got to get going again. Mark was ready to race, but his car wasn't.
Richard Petty. Here's Mark Martin out of car number 6, the young man that just took us for that wild ride down the back straightaway at Daytona. What a competitor he is. Grew up in the Midwest, ran the ASA circuit, used to getting bruised and battered, but not at these kind of speeds. Here's Mike Joy.
Look at the damage to the left front of Dale Earnhardt's car. Now, they've cut away a bit of sheet metal to gain tire clearance, because if somebody bumps against that tire, a sharp edge could cut it easily. He's lost the left front corner of the spoiler. That will really create some lift on that corner of the race car. They don't want to cut away too much. That'll really destroy the aerodynamics. And you can see the skim of plastic filler, Bondo, that goes on this car over the sheet metal to really make it slippery in the wind tunnel and on the racetrack. We'll get a word with Richard Childress in a moment.
I'll tell you what, Ken, a lot of the guys that are damaged real bad, and they're worried about just getting points. I'm not so sure these guys have ruled out a chance still to win the race. That car wasn't damaged too bad. They might be able to doctor that thing up and get it back in contention.
Well, Earnhardt only lost 1 lap so far. Ernie Irvan lost 3 laps, but if he could get up there and get back in the lead lap, yeah, he'd still have a chance to win this thing.
So we're under caution. There are 96 laps complete, just shy of the halfway point. A major disaster on the back straightaway.
60 miles an hour is a good, comfortable speed. Times do we have someone to pull out and pass us, perhaps going 65 to 70 miles an hour. And as you can see, it doesn't take them too long to get by just going 5 or 10 miles an hour faster than we are going. Now, the race cars are running about 190 miles an hour, so we're going to pull off the interstate onto the racetrack and show you a dramatic difference in speed. Now we're on the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway, where there is no speed limit. To go around this track in the passenger car at 60 miles an hour, it would take us 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, Dale Jarrett goes around here in 47 seconds, but that C is over 190 miles an hour. But we're going to let him go by now as he gets up to speed the first time, which is about 120 miles an hour. Now let's watch him come by at 190 miles an hour, which is full speed, and wow. Now you notice we picked him up coming off of turn 2 at full speed, and we were going 60 miles an hour down the backstretch, and he makes a full lap while we just make the distance down the backstretch. No wonder his mama always said he drives too fast.
Nice piece, Ned. Here we are back underway with 99 laps complete, just shy of the halfway mark. We have 7 cars in the lead lap, and that gives you some idea of the speed that's being churned out by Davey Allison's number 28 up on the point in the lead with Bobby Hamilton and number 68 now second.
Well, we had 16 cars in the lead lap before that big crash on the backstretch, so that took out 9 of those that were running in the lead lap. Well, I said it took out. It didn't take all of them out of the race. Dale Earnhardt, for example, is still in there running in 13th place, 1 lap down.
New cast up in front. Looks like this. Allison first. Bobby Hamilton second. Then Michael Waltrip in third at the halfway mark with Derek Cope. Derek Cope, the winner in 89, running in fourth. In 90, running in fourth. Dick Trickle is fifth. Morgan Shepherd is sixth. Jeff Bodine seventh. Going eighth is Phil Parsons.
That was the halfway mark, and Davey led it, but he's got a new group behind him right now. He's got a whole bunch of guys that showed promise in the 125s, and now they got an opportunity in the 500.
Parsons in the 9 car is being shown a lap down, and he is running 8th. Kyle Petty right behind him. Here's Morgan Shepherd, very much a factor in this race now.
Now Morgan made a pit stop just before the green came out, and he was in the lead. I wonder if his crew didn't know that there was a $10,000 bonus for leading at the halfway mark. Davey Allison picked it up.
Back they come out of turn 4. There you see Kyle Petty's number 42 nipping down there with 94. Labonte on the inside. Remember, Kyle Petty is being shown 9th. In 10th is Kowicki and Musgrave in that Jasper car, number 55. He's pulled himself up. Be a top 10 contender. And Earnhardt is back up in here now. He is now being shown in 10th as they switch them around the back straightaway. And look at the cosmetic surgery done to car number 3.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage, but one thing, if it's not damaged on the nose area, up on the frontal area of the car, it's still got the ability to run pretty good. And looks like they did a lot of work on that area when they were stopped.
Earnhardt is in 10th. He is 1 lap down. And there's Musgrave in the 55 car down on the inside that's having a good run today, right in front of him. Back with the leaders. Davey Allison first. And Bobby Hamilton out of Nashville won the Winston Cup Rookie of the Year honors last season, now running in 2nd place. This is the best he has done. Hamilton came out of the Grand National ranks of NASCAR. Here's Alan Kowicki wheeling up the outside. Kowicki is in 8th, 1 lap down.
Yeah, he'd like to get up there and try to move around Davey Allison and get back in the lead lap. This might be his best opportunity to do that. And he also maybe will get up there and help pull Davey Allison away from that pack of cars behind him. Now, Allison would like that, and then would he do the same courtesy that he did to Jeff Bodine a little bit earlier when Jeff Bodine helped him to pick up some speed. Jeff Bodine was a lap down when the caution came out. Davey moved over, let Jeff Bodine go by and get back in the lead lap.
Don't count Dale Earnhardt out of this thing. He's come from 13th to 9th in just 3 laps as he moves back through the field, all taped up, but looking strong right here.
Yeah, he's 9th, but he's 4th in this line of traffic. He's 3 cars away from getting that lap back, but he's got an awful strong car up there, Davey Allison. And you see some of the repair work they did is not holding up. Some of that stuff is breaking loose. They're gonna need some more work on that car. That piece sticking up in the air is awful tough to pull that along.
That 200-mile-an-hour tape they put on there maybe wasn't but 175-mile-an-hour tape.
Here's Mike Joy.
Well, they're ready to rebuild that spoiler on Earnhardt's car. They've got a piece cut ready to put on there. Let me tell you about Bobby Hamilton, who's right up there. He got to the front, drafting along with Derek Cope. Those 2 drivers did the same thing in the 125-mile race on Thursday and agreed to work together in today's 500. They are pitted side by side, drafted up to the front, but for now, he's lost his dancing partner. Let's see how he fares.
I would say he would fare well. This is a really good racer, this Bobby Hamilton.
Yes, he is, and he might have a better dancing partner now because he's got a faster car up in front of him, that being Davey Allison.
Yeah, and right behind him, Morgan Shepherd just came around Earnhardt, and he'll be pulling up on the back bumper of the 68 car. Here he comes right now. So that'll give them some more muscle up front.
Morgan Shepherd now has moved into third place. Davey Allison leading, Bobby Hamilton second. Now Shepherd trying to take over the second position from Bobby Hamilton. We saw that car come from way back in the pack on Thursday, come up to finish second behind Bill Elliott in one of the 125-mile qualifying races. And it looks like the Wood brothers have that Ford working good for Morgan again today. You can ride right with him. On the inside, you can see he turns the wheel a little bit into the corners. He's going down the backstretch now. Looks up at the rear view mirror to see where everybody is around him. Closes in on Alan Kowicki going into turn 3. But you can see how straight he tries to run behind Alan Kowicki directly in the draft up. That'll help to pick up speed.
The last time the Wood brothers won here at Daytona, 1976. 1976, and that incredible finish when Richard Petty and David Pearson crashed in turn 4, slid down in the grass. Pearson came across. But the Wood brothers have won 4 Daytona 500s. Now their driver is Morgan Shepherd, and they're on the upswing. A year ago with Dale Jarrett, they won by 4 inches at the Michigan 400 over Davey Allison.
You can see Morgan down on the low side of the racetrack trying to move around the car 7 of Alan Kowicki. And boy, he gets a good run off of turn 2 into turn 3. He'll just blow right on by him. Alan will let him do it to pick up the draft behind him.
And remember what we saw in the 125-mile qualifiers. As the race wore on, he was the man that went down to the bottom of the racetrack and rode that lower rail, tied right to it. Here's Mike Joy.
Well, this is the new left front corner for Dale Earnhardt's car. It's a beauty, isn't it? It'll be pop riveted on there. Cecil Gordon and Gene Dehart fixed this one up. Gene, this is a little bit of meatball surgery here. I'd say this is a little meatball surgery here.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. If Earnhardt is going to need this piece, if he's going to run out in front by himself, as long as he's in the draft, not much air will get up and under that left front tire, but if he tries to move the wind on his own, watch out. Next time around, on goes the drill and the pop rivets and this piece.
Still trying after all these years to win the 500. 5 times the champion. Here's Stanley Smith slipping down to the inside. The Alabama driver going underneath. Number 3, Earnhardt, and those aerodynamics messing him up right now. Terry Labonte closing ground. Here's our leaders. It's Davey Allison first, riding second, Morgan Shepherd, and Bobby Hamilton in third in the Daytona 500. After 270 miles, 6 leaders, 10 lead changes, average speed 156 miles an hour, well down from the track record after a rain caution and then a serious crash has brought out that yellow flag for a total of 12 laps. 8 cars are officially out of the race, but we had a 14-car incident just a few laps back. Many are still under repair and attempting to get back in. That was from Mark Martin's vantage point. Mark Martin trying to get back in this Daytona 500 after his Roush racer took that terrible thump. Here are the cars that were involved. Wallace, Jarrett, Marlin, Martin, Bill Elliott, the entire front row. Alan Kowicki, Ken Schrader was involved in that. Ernie Irvin, Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty. Petty has continued. Earnhardt is back out. Chad Little was involved. Bobby Hillen in the Moroso car also collected. Let's go to Chris Economaki, who has one of the members of that confrontation on the back straightaway.
All right, thank you, Ken. First of all, car 22, Sterling Marlin, Dale Jarrett in 18, Chad Little in 66, Ken Schrader in 25, and Bobby Hill in 31 are out of the race. Those other cars are trying to get back. With me is Dale Jarrett. Dale, I can understand why you're not smiling. How did that accident happen, and why did it happen?
Well, to be honest, I really am not sure. We were running down off the second corner, and I saw smoke come up. My understanding is that somebody got 3 wide there. And, you know, this just wasn't the time to be racing 3 wide. We had 250 miles left to go in this race. I thought I had it cleared, and all of a sudden the 22 car came back up in front of me, and I hit him running wide open. It's a real shame. The Interstate Battery Chevrolet was just performing great. You know, we'd come from 35th all the way up into the top 10. Hadn't had any problems, and you get to the front, where do you think things wouldn't happen, and all of a sudden we get in a big wreck.
We see all this damage. The cars are all turned up. What's it like when you're bouncing on there? How hard are the hits?
Oh, it's terrible. That's as hard as a wreck as I've ever been in. When I hit Sterling Marlin, I was running wide open. I never had a chance hardly to slow down. And then Ken Schrader hit me, thank goodness, in the right door, not the left door, running wide open. And it just tore our car completely apart. And you're sitting there just waiting to get hit the next time. I knew the whole field was behind us. It's not a good thought to be sitting there. And I was just glad that Jimmy Maycard and the guys did a good job of building my Interstate Battery Chevrolet as safe as they did.
Any aches, any pains?
Yeah, I'm hurting a little bit, but glad we've got a week off here, and I'll be ready to go by Rockingham.
Now, the car that you banged up in Thursday's race, is that the same car today?
No, unfortunately, Joe Gibbs has got a rude awakening to the NASCAR scene. We've torn up 2 race cars here. The one on Thursday was just sheet metal. There wasn't any frame damage, but it probably totally destroyed the one today.
This isn't going to dissuade Gibbs about being a car owner, is it?
No. We were looking awfully good there to get him into this racing in the right way. I thought we had a good shot at winning the race, and everybody that's helped us out, Interstate, Food Lion, Chevrolet, Mobile One, all these people have really helped us get to this point, and I thought we were going to give them a good show here.
Look up at the scoreboard, Dale. You see who's leading. Yeah, who do you think will win this thing?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to be a smart aleck. At this point, I don't particularly care. If I had to say, Morgan Shepherd does a good job, and I'd like to see nothing better than the Wood brothers and the people at Citgo get a victory here at Daytona.
Thanks for coming back. Let's go now to Mike Joy.
Well, Chris, I'm in the Wood brothers pit, and Glenn Wood is the patriarch of this team, and he's making notes in his little blue book, and it's been a Wood brothers kind of week. Glenn, Morgan Shepherd had a great run Thursday. What kind of notes are you taking here?
Well, I was just trying to see if we can go the rest of the way on one stop. That's the reason we stopped late.
Have you fine-tuned your pencil?
We changed the 4 tires, and this says we can go the rest of the way on one stop.
Well, if it goes green all the way, well, I guess you got a gas sponsor. Gas mileage is what it's all about.
Well, we're getting around 130 miles to a tank, and we will only have 125 to go at the end.
Sounds good to me. There's 2 generations of Wood brothers on pit road now, Ken.
Indeed. Glenn Wood won here back in '63 with Tiny Lund, and '68, that great race with Cale. AJ in '72, and finally David Pearson. By the way, we were talking to Dale Jarrett down there. How's the father doing, Ned?
Well, he's doing okay, and it's always good to see him. We saw him sitting in the car over there with his helmet off and moving around, so that's always the first good sign that you look for. And you know that when he gets hit that hard, he's going to be hurting a little bit, but you can hear him say he's ready to go at Rockingham a week from next Sunday.
Here's David Hobbs.
Sterling Marlin, you led that race very handily. What happened out there on the banking?
Well, it looks like we just ran out of real estate coming off. I got under Bill, and Ernie got under me, and we come off, and I thought Ernie and you were still there, and he come up, and Bill was kind of coming down, and I said, this ain't gonna work right here. So I got to fight the gas, but it's too late, and just it's just enough to hang Ernie and turn him across into Bill, and I got sandwiched in between them.
The race had been so clean up to that first pit stop. Everybody was really being cautious after the crash and bash race on Thursday. People made adjustments at the pit stop, and then almost immediately we had the accident. You don't think people loosened the cars up too much?
No, I don't think so. It's just, one of them deals you get sandwiched, and we made a lot of adjustments in our car this morning. Mike Beam did, and man, it drove perfect. We changed a couple springs and trailing arms, and a little everything, and you can ask for the Max House Thunderbird driving it better. It just drove great.
You had such a hopeful weekend. It's a tough end, right?
Yeah, because had it 182,000 from Unical laying out there, and the Daytona 500 win, but man, we'll be back.
There you go. They'll be back.
118 laps are now complete, and when we return, the story to be told is that of Rapid Wisconsin's Dick Trickle, who's having an amazing run in the Great American Race. At 121 of 200 laps in the Daytona 500, Davey Allison is in first place, and in second is Morgan Shepherd, and the dice is on in the back straightaway for the lead.
Shepherd trying to take it away from Davey Allison. Alan Kowicki is a lap down. He's right in that mix, but Shepherd couldn't quite pull it off. He had to back off coming off the turn.
Davey Allison standing tough here as he comes down before these 130,000 plus race fans. At the Daytona 2.5 mile, Morgan Shepherd stays right there in second spot. Ford running 1 and 2. Incidentally, Bill Elliott, Darrell Waltrip, and Mark Martin, all involved in that 14-car incident, have now returned to the race. Martin some 29 laps back. Hutch Strickland, who was in that crash, also back underway. You saw him there in the Bobby Allison car.
And one of the cars that was left in the lead lap, and the winner of the 1990 Daytona 500, Derek Cope's car, is being pushed behind the wall. So he had some smoke coming out of the car as he came into the pits. So let's go to the pits for more on that story, and Mike Joy.
A lot of smoke out the header pipes, Derek. What happened to it?
Well, I think we had a problem with the valve there. You know, we had a good run going all day, just very patient. We had the Purelator filters, bullseye bar. We just saw Chevrolet in the hunt, but we had to kind of stay between cars. You know, we couldn't run by ourselves, but it looked like it was going to be a decent day for us, but we just didn't make it to the end.
You and Bobby Hamilton were working well together out there.
Yes, we had to do that in the 125s, too, but Bobby, he said he'd stick with me, and I needed a pusher. I needed somebody behind me at all times, and his car was working good, and we didn't upset my car, so together we were going to go to the front and be a good match.
That's Derek Cope. Let's go up pit road to David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with Joe Gibbs and Noel Miller from Interstate Batteries, the great owners of Dale Jarrett's car. 2 cars in the weekend. Bad start to the season, boys.
Well, I'll tell you, we learned the lesson here about that's racing.
Joe, what about this in the Super Bowl?
Well, I think it's a little different here. I worried about Dale first. That was most important. And once I found out he was okay, I really started looking at it. I think our guys put together 2 cars, and both of them ran real well. So I think that says a lot about our team. I feel bad for the guys.
What do you need to do now?
Well, I think, you know, we're back to a different kind of track next week, and I think the other cars, you know, will be okay. We just got to go back and put it back together. This one's probably hurt pretty good. But I think we're in this for the long haul. We'll hopefully some of these things will start going our way. I think we're running good, which is important to all of us.
Well, we want to thank you both and welcome to this sport from your sport, and welcome to racing. Thank you very much.
Look here, there's your leader, 28 Davey Allison, pulling away just a bit. And then in the second spot is number 21, Morgan Shepherd. And the story for the moment is this man, the white car, number 75. That's Dick Trickle, who's run more races than anyone here. And Dick Trickle has taken the Raymock car up into 3rd position. There on the outside, you see the number 3, Earnhardt, trying to get a lap back. But in the lead lap is the 75. This is the car that finished 3rd in this race just 1 year ago with Joe Ruttman at the keyboard.
And Dick Trickle doing a good job. They don't have a sponsor on that car. You see Raymock on the side of it. That's the name of their corporation. That is not the name of any sponsor on the car. Neil?
Ned, as we were talking, the 68 car, Bobby Hamilton was running 5th, just went behind the wall. He just turned in, went directly behind the wall. I don't know what happened.
So with Hamilton going out of the race, that will leave 5 cars in the lead lap. 5 and 5 only. Let's update you on who they are. Davey Allison stays in front. Morgan Shepherd is in 2nd. Dick Trickle is in 3rd. Michael Waltrip in 4th. And Jeff Bodine, who was allowed to make up that lap when Davey Allison let him through, comes into 5th spot.
And it'll put Alan Kowicki, who is running right behind these 2 cars that we saw there, running in the 6th position. This is Davey Allison's pits. They're watching the progress of him out there. He's turning some good laps out there, fellas. He's running over 190 miles an hour.
They say that Hamilton burned a piston and retired that car that had run in the top 5 after that incident.
Again, we see Morgan Shepherd just barely creeping back up on Davey Allison now, and I think when they come up to Ernie Irvin there in traffic that he might be able to catch it. When we saw him try to make that pass a little while ago, he got way behind. It cost him, and he's been working hard for 4 or 5 laps just to get back up there with him.
Here's Mark Martin's car, or what's left of it, continuing a little untethered here as you see it coming around the banking and down into the tri-oval area. And I think he's coming back onto pit road. You can hear him shift down. Here's the number 6 coming in, looking more like a Saturday night modified racer.
He might be coming in to get that particular piece of metal off there. NASCAR might not want that thing have a chance to fly off into the grandstand, so they'll probably remove that and then let him go again.
Remember, he's running many laps down, 29 by the last count we had. It may be more now because he certainly isn't up to snuff in car number 6.
You know, it's hard to believe when you look at this particular car here. That thing's probably spent 10 hours in the wind tunnel this winter getting ready for this race. Probably had $100,000 worth of preparation go into it, and now it's a piece of junk. When this race is over, they got a lot of work to do to it.
We're going to give you a running order back through the field as matters stand in the Daytona 500. as they continue to tape up Mark Martin's car, and we watch this battle up in front. Morgan Shepherd certainly a factor, and that number 7. What a story on Kowicki today. Remember, he was back in the very last row, 41st position, back beside Hut Strickland, and that number 7 is just a lap down in 6th place now. Allen's having a good day, and it didn't start off that way.
No, it didn't, but his car is running as fast as any out there. He's able to hang on to the leaders as we see these cars that are a lap down back in the field.
Here's David Hobbs.
Hamilton, you were having a tremendous run in 5th spot. What happened?
Well, it looks like we burned a piston. I'm not real sure, but the motor just started laying down. Rather than oil the racetrack down, we decided to come in. The car is good. Country Time guys did a heck of a job. I mean, that thing was working perfect.
You seem to be in a hurry to go somewhere. Where are you off to?
Well, they called me on the radio, and Darrell needs me to come up relief. He must have had some inside damage once he gets some heat in the car.
Well, I don't hold you up. Get on and good luck.
And not only heat in the car, if he's got damage to the panels in there, you get carbon monoxide in there. Let's go back to the pits and Mike Joy.
Darrell Waltrip will climb out of the Western Auto car. He looked really sweated up and overheated when that car came in as a result of the multi-car accident. Well, it may not have been from being overtired, but he was definitely overheated. So Hamilton, who is also a fellow Nashvilleian with Waltrip, will climb aboard this car or what's left of it.
Finishing the running order here in the Daytona 500, 34th annual. And it has had a major incident that has eliminated many favorites. Looking further back to the field, Richard Petty in 16th. Hamilton's car still being shown in 21st, but it will trickle down through the standings as more laps are run. A.J. Foyt still hanging tough in 25th position. And these are some of the guys that are just out there marking time and trying to score points in this event. Darrell Waltrip's car not running up to snuff. And he has a substitute driver getting ready to take over the controls of number 17. That's the running order all the way back to where we began. 42 cars here just after 12 o'clock. And we'll be back to follow this battle for the lead between Allison and Morgan when we return. We'll return to the Daytona Speedway after these messages and a word from your local station. And at the present time, Davey Allison has the advantage, as you see it here, over car number 21, Morgan Shepherd. Ford's running in 1st and 2nd spot, an Oldsmobile with Dick Trickle at the controls in 3rd, and Michael Waltrip maintaining 4th with a Pontiac. Back in 5th is Jeff Bodine. But the story is Davey Allison trying to upgrade his best finish of 2nd to his father in 1988 and finally win this thing.
He's certainly sitting in good position to do that. He is beginning to break away a little bit from Morgan Shepherd now. Shepherd had been drafting ever since the green flag came out, but he just now is losing his draft.
And it looks like as long as Alec Kowicki was helping Shepherd, the two of them were able to handle Davey. And then the 7 car of Kowicki fell off a little bit, and then the 21 lost him also. So Davey can outrun him by himself, it looks like.
Let's go a little further back in the field here. Take a look at car number 41, Greg Sachs. He is back to 10th position, and right with him is the 55. That's Musgrave. That is a battle for 10th that's taking place at this moment down here in front of the crowd going to turn 1. Greg Sachs, what a yo-yo he's been on today in car 41. From 5th to 2 laps down after an early pit stop. Now back into the top 10. Car number 41, Greg Sachs. And Musgrave is having a great day, 11th. Going for his first career top 10 finish in that car number 55, the Jasper car, looking really good. And that 16 out there is Wally Dallenbach Jr., the Colorado campaigner, who's being shown in 17th position. And that's the second Roush car, that number 16. That, too, is a backup car. He lost the chair they had planned for the 500 in those 125-mile qualifying races that had all the incidents.
Now, Wally is not eligible for Rookie of the Year honors this year because he had run too many Winston Cup races last year.
Rusty Wallace is back on pit road in car number 2.
Actually getting back in the race, and let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
They're trying to keep Bobby Hamilton iced down here in the Darrell Waltrip pit. Darrell is overheated, and for good reason. In the crash that took out the left rear trailing arm to the suspension of Waltrip's car, it also collapsed the exhaust pipes. They had to be removed, and the header pipes from the engine that carry that exhaust gas were too badly mangled to bolt on a new set of tailpipes. So Waltrip is getting a hot foot and more. He's getting all that blast of air right out of the cylinders, right to the floor of that car, and he is getting badly overheated, but hopes to finish the race. David Hobbs?
Well, I'm down in the pits of car number 75, Dick Trickle's car, owned by Barbara Hilly, the guy you see standing on pit wall, and Butch Mock. Their cars always do well here, and at the moment, it's unsponsored. Why do they always do well here? Well, they've got some very good engines. The car's supposed to be just a little loose right now. Dick Trickle, an amazing guy. He's won over 1,000 races in the Midwest, and when he first came down here to Daytona, he looked very businesslike with his briefcase and all sorts of other accoutrements. When they opened the briefcase, what was in there? Nothing, just his sandwiches. He said it made him look more businesslike. Well, he's looking very businesslike this afternoon, running a strong third in the Daytona 500.
Again, I tell you what, I drove for Butch Mock and Barbara Hilly. Their cars fly on these big racetracks. We won the Busch Clash and 125 milers and stuff. They need some sponsorship with that thing, and they can win a lot of races.
There he is, lapping Ernie Irvin's car number 4, involved in that big 14-car skirmish earlier in this 500. Allison first, Shepard second, Trickle in third. Out of turn number 4, 2 cars have spun, landed on the inside. One is Kerry Teague and the other is Rick Wilson. That's Kerry Teague in the number 03 and Rick Wilson. Wilson's car number 8 had been having a fairly good ride back in 19th spot, immediately pulls on to pit road, and the Kerry Teague car was running considerably further back in the 29th position.
Can I believe that one of those cars started to make a pit stop maybe and tried to get down on the inside to come to the pits, and he got tagged. I'm not sure which one he was. I just happened to look up as they were coming off of that turn, and they were down on the low side of the racetrack and got together. Now this will be a break for those that need to make a pit stop. Here they are. There's Rick Wilson down on the inside, and here's Kerry Teague coming up behind him. It looked like maybe Rick Wilson was headed for the pits, and Teague comes up and runs into him. Runs into the back of Rick Wilson's Ford and spins him around.
Ed, I believe you're exactly right, because he was slowed down the inside, ready to come in and stop, and looked like he didn't see him. He just nailed him.
Here's Mike Joy.
The Wood brothers waiting for Morgan Shepherd, hoping that they could go and run this on one last pit stop. If they come in next time by, it means Morgan would have to go 55 laps, as many as Ken Schrader ran at the start of the race, to be able to finish the 500 without another fuel stop, and that may be just a little too far. David Hobbs?
Well, Davey Allison's pit's all ready for him to come in. There's 144 laps on the board. Can they do that extra 56 laps? It'll be cutting it real fine, but they're certainly going to come in and top up now.
And it's not going to take too long to clear this track. Both of those cars are able to continue on pit road, so they can't wait out a caution for several laps. They may get this thing fired real soon.
Now, there's another major situation that came out of this. Alan Kowicki, who had been drafting behind Davey Allison and Morgan Shepherd, made his lap up as he came back to the start-finish line. That put 6 cars back in the lead lap. And Kowicki, as we pointed out, fast-running race car, so that's going to put him back in shape as we see the leaders coming into the pits now.
He almost clipped Allison in getting past here in the tri-oval, but he's made up the lap. There's Allison on pit road. Here's
Davey Allison's car changing right side tires, new sticker tires, cleaning the windscreen, gas going in out those heavy dump cans, spraying all over the place. Mechanics coming back, going to change the inside tires. No adjustments to the suspension that we can see. Davey pretty happy with the way this car's set up at the moment. Jack down, tanked off.
Mike Joy.
Morgan Shepherd will get 4 tires on the Wood brothers car all the way around. Just ahead of him, Darrell Waltrip is in, and no driver change on car number 17. Jeff Hammond, you see, will work with the window net here, trying to get that one locked down and also help get a little fresh air into Darrell. That vent tube will bring him badly needed fresh air with those exhaust pipes dumping heat on the floorboards. And even though the floors are insulated on these cars, it's a very warm ride for Waltrip. He's full of fuel. He's got tires. They're looking for any kind of rubbing or smoke coming out of the bottom other than from the exhaust pipes. And they'll send Waltrip back out. Bobby Hamilton continues to stand by.
I think I heard them when they were coming in. I think Robert Yates said they were going to top off after this caution. As they were in Davey's pit, I think he said, we'll change tires and we'll top off. They're thinking about going the distance if they can get a long enough window in this caution.
look again at what happened to bring about the third caution period of the day.
Well, there was a pack of cars, which included Michael Waltrip, Dick Trickle, and Dale Earnhardt was in there. Went on the outside. Rick Wilson had slowed down, got to the inside of the racetrack, looked like he was headed for the pits, and all of a sudden, Kerry Teague apparently didn't realize that he was coming to the pits, and he came up and hit Wilson from behind and spun him around.
So Kerry Teague, the rookie, and Rick Wilson take a lot of abuse. Rick Wilson looked like he's going to continue. We'll tell you about Teague in a moment. In the early going, it was the pole sitter, Sterling Marlin. Then his teammate, Bill Elliott, took over, followed by Marlin for a lengthy period of time. Bill Elliott getting another lap. Darrell Waltrip getting a chance to lead. Then Schrader, who'd made it an economy run with car number 25, had a 5-lap opportunity up in front. Followed by Davey Allison, who's dominated for some time. That's the story. Still under caution here. Bill Elliott getting some more laps out in front. Allison, Shepard back and forth here as we get past the halfway mark, up to 147 laps now complete. And with this caution period, it's going to leave them right on the edge as far as fuel consumption is concerned. More on that story when we continue with the 34th annual Daytona 500.
Today, Performance 500 Race Summary is sponsored by STP, The Edge.
After 370 miles, 6 leaders swapping the lead 12 times, averaging under the record considerably. Record 177, 160 miles per hour, with currently Davey Allison in control. 3 caution periods have amounted to 16 laps, and there are officially 10 cars out of the race, the latest being Kerry Teague's car number 03.
Of course, he was involved in the accident with Rick Wilson, and there's a lot of wounded cars out on the racetrack that are not out of the race. The green flag waves.
Green flag is down as they come across the line with 149 laps complete. Just as they got ready to go, Morgan Shepherd dove onto pit road and topped the tank. Can it make the difference here?
It's going to be close. It's just hard to imagine being able to go that far, but to win the Daytona 500, you might see some people stretch it.
Now, after these pit stops, they were showing for the moment Kyle Petty in the lead lap, but I think Davies just put him back down again.
That's exactly right. Has put him a lap down again, so Kyle Petty would be in the 7th position, one lap down. Michael Waltrip is in the yellow car there, is in 2nd place. Jeff Bodine in the red car is in 3rd place.
And remember that incident earlier when Davey Allison.
See Morgan Shepherd coming back towards the front. I'll tell you, that Ford is strong today. The Wood brothers have him running good. Morgan doing a good job of driving it as well.
Remember that long draft earlier in the going when Jeff Bodine stayed right with Davey Allison, and coming back to the line, Jeff scooted by, got back in that lead lap. Here's Michael Waltrip down on the inside. Yellow Chevy. On the outside, it's the number 42. A lap down, the Pontiac of Kyle Petty, trying to get, now falling back. Here's David Hobbs.
Larry McReynolds, you stopped early on in that caution. Was that a wise thing to do, leaving yourself 56 laps to go?
Well, I believe there was enough cautions that there really shouldn't be a problem making it the distance. We can go about 53 or 54 green laps, and we run about 5 or 6 cautions in. So that don't obviously eat up near as much fuel. So I think we're going to be okay. You know, if we'd have been any gamble at all, we'd obviously come back in and topped off.
Car running right?
We still are a little bit tight from the middle out, but, you know, seems to be okay right now. Maybe that's one of the reasons he's able to run pretty good with cars tucked up behind him. I know that's been a problem with a lot of cars this week down here, is other cars making them loose. Maybe we're tight enough on the chassis that it really don't affect us.
Well, doesn't seem to be much of a problem at the moment. Mike Joy?
In Morgan Shepherd's pit, they have a computer, but Glenn Wood prefers to do his figuring the old-fashioned way. What does pencil and paper tell you?
Well, we ran 50 laps on the first stop, plus the 3 pace laps, and it took 21.5. So we pitted on 148, that 52 to go, so we should be right on the money.
With your fingers crossed, you've been in this position before, you were telling me.
Well, we lost the race here one time with AJ. We ran out just as we passed pit road and had to coast around, and we lost out.
Well, better luck today.
That was the reason we stopped this last time. Hopefully we can make it.
Okay, Glenwood.
Good folks from Stewart, Virginia, still do it the old-fashioned way.
I tell you what, when I went up there to drive for those people, they didn't have the big high technology stuff to do the engines. Leonard made all the stuff himself, and don't Don't laugh at that little piece of paper. It'll outrun a lot of computers on a given
It's running second right now, that car number 21.
And I think he'll stay running second, too. He'll conserve as much fuel as he possibly can. And certainly running behind Davey Allison there will conserve some fuel.
You're riding with Mark Martin in the car number 6, all tattered and torn. Back in 33rd position, considerably off the pace, but still struggling, hoping to get a finish of some sort here. Move up in those Winston Cup standings as the year progresses and ends in Atlanta come next November. Morgan Shepherd chasing Davey Allison. That's what it looks like from Morgan's view. This is better than 190 miles per hour live. Morgan Shepherd at work, just easing that car. Just barely on the edge of control through turns 1 and 2.
And remember, this is the car. You can see those marks on the side of that car number 21 that almost got into, in fact, he did get into the wall. Could have put him out of the race when he and Jeff Bodine got together early. You can see the tire mark of Jeff Bodine's car down on the inside. And there's a mark on the outside where he got into the wall, but apparently no damage done.
You know, when we were talking about mileage a while ago, he's got the best mileage meter in the world sitting right directly in front of him. That car's got 4 more laps on it than his car. When these cars run out, they're out nowadays. They make them pick up every ounce of gas. If Davey has a problem, he knows he's going to be next. But he's got a 4-lap cushion with him, Ned.
Yeah, he definitely has the advantage right now, no question about it, because he came back in and topped off where Davey stayed out there, and then the fact that he's running in his draft, conserving that fuel. Morgan Shepherd is really in the driver's seat right now.
But the surprise here is Michael Waldrop in that Pontiac, Ford Pontiac. Michael Waldrop has never had much success in this race. His best finish a year ago when he came across, or 2 years ago, when he came across in 8th spot. And right now the number 30 looks good. But how about Dick Trickle in the 75, staying right in there in that Raymont car, holding on to 4th with Alan Kowicki shown as 5th. There's the lap car of Earnhardt in between Trickle and the white 75 and the number 7 of Kowicki.
I'll tell you, it's good to see the 75 car running so good. And certainly it's no surprise because, as we've said earlier, Joe Ruttman finished 3rd in that car here a year ago. Bob Rahilly, the engine builder, from the day they started putting restrictor plates on these cars, Neil, Bob Rahilly jumped on it right quick and was able to produce as much horsepower as anyone with the restrictor plates on it.
He's had the ability to really reach in that engine and find what works, and he has actually passed some of that knowledge around to some of the other GM teams, and people come to him for advice on the car.
Now look how straight Morgan Shepherd is staying behind Davey Allison. He stayed just as directly behind him as he possibly can, conserving as much fuel as he possibly can. Now let's see if we can hear him decelerate maybe just a little bit when he goes into the turns. He's wide open now, of course, as he heads down into turn 1. Had to keep him wide open that time. There he backed off a little bit. That saved a little bit of fuel.
They had that little bit of lift, just a little here, a little there, can be the difference in winning this race. And it's nice to be sitting there. I guarantee you, Davey in the front, he doesn't have the option of lifting because that guy will run right up over him.
1st and 2nd place in the back straightaway. And there's Dick Trickle in the 75 in that 4th spot. And he is driving a sensational round here. Remember, that car finished 3rd in this first round a year ago.
And if they don't get a sponsorship soon, certainly a good finish here today will take them to some more racing. But if they don't get a sponsorship soon, the team could just have to shut down.
Allison, Shepherd, Michael Waltrip, and Dick Trickle. 1, 2, 3, 4 down into turn number 1. There's Eddie Wood looking on, concerned about that Morgan Shepherd car as it continues to stay right in the hunt here in the Daytona 500. We're 40 laps away from the conclusion of the Daytona 500. There are the leaders. Allison first, Morgan Shepherd in 2nd, Michael Waltrip, that yellow Pontiac in 3rd, and then Dick Trickle hangs right in there in the Oldsmobile in 4th.
And not too far behind, we see Alan Kowicki coming up there. He is in 5th place. He got back in the lead lap, and he is catching that front group of cars.
Meanwhile, another battle taking place. Look at this. Here's 41, Greg Sachs, in a real struggle with Dale Earnhardt. Also involved in there is Buddy Baker. Baker getting around the outside of Earnhardt's number 3. the 1980 winner of this event, had an excellent run here today.
And
Kyle Petty.
Yep. And now all of those cars are one lap down, Ken, but they're fighting for position. That just moved Kyle Petty into the 7th position. There's 6 cars that are on the lead lap, so Kyle Petty just blew by Greg Sachs and took over 7th.
Kyle Petty moving up. Sachs in that hunt. Then comes Buddy Baker right in the midst of it there. They come through the 17-degree bend directly into the start-finish line.
Pretty heavy pack of cars.
Pretty heavy racing back in there.
Yeah, I tell you what, Baker and those guys have been going at it for a long time. I know Buddy Baker certainly feels good. He's always loved these big racetracks, and for him to have a good run, I know he feels good in that car.
6 cars remain in the lead lap. Allison, Shepard, Waltrip, Trickle, Kowicki, and Jeff Bodine. More on the story. Here's Mike Joy.
We're at the high-tech end of pit road, Ken. Here's the NASCAR.
So if you do or if you don't, we're not.
Okay. Bill Engel.
If you do, if you don't, we're not.
Can you tell you at Daytona, they might run you out on a half-mile racetrack. This big place, you know, I tell you what, that looked just a little different than that pad we were operating with a while ago, that big lap computer, didn't it?
Yep, probably the same results. So.
Up in front, Davey Allison has clinched the 5-point bonus that NASCAR has for leading the most laps in a race. Nobody can take it away from him now, although the win can be taken away by several, including Morgan Shepard, hugging the back of car number 28.
Well, it makes you wonder if you see 2 guys run this long. When we get out at the end of this race, neither one of them's going to have a secret. They ran together so long. Morgan knows what Davey's car is capable of. Davey can look back and see where Morgan makes his strong move. What you got to try to do is work your strongest point against the other guy's weakness. Sometimes there is no weakness.
Morgan Shepard, a veteran of so many years, been here at the 500 since 1982. There you see him at work. His best finish was back in the Bud Moore car back in 1980. Came home in 5th spot, but he sure got a run going today. That was 10th spot in 1990 when he came across. 10th for Bud Moore. Here's David Hobbs.
I'm with Paul Andrews, Alan Kulwicki's crew chief, the Hope of Wisconsin, and going really well, Paul.
Well, we just got to caution now. The Hooters Ford has been doing a good job all day long. You know, the guys, we started in the back of this thing. The guys work real hard. We got to run fast here right now. Alan's done a good job of driving all day long. We're just real happy to be here. We're going to go ahead and get us some tires here and go for the rest of the way.
And there's the reason for the 4th caution of the day. Ernie Urban, last year's winner of the Daytona 500, in trouble. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, brings out the yellow another time, giving everybody a chance to top their tanks and create a 6-car shootout to decide the winner of the 34th 500. We'll return to the Daytona International Speedway after these messages and a word from your local station. Back at Daytona, all the leaders elected to come on to pit road, take on fuel. Some took on 2 tires. Some took on 4 tires. There's the weather as it looks. I think we're going to get this one in, Ned.
Yeah, but there's dark clouds back over turn 1 here from the west, so I don't know. Hopefully it'll hold off.
Let's listen to the audio communication from Morgan Shepard's car to Eddie Wood just a moment ago when they were getting ready to come in on this pit stop, top those tanks off.
Morgan, you think that thing would run better with only 1 can of fuel or a full load?
That was Eddie Wood asking the question, and you didn't get Morgan's response there. Neil?
Ken, what they're wanting to know, you're talking about putting 100 pounds of weight. They're not concerned about mileage with it. They're talking about putting 100 pounds of weight in the car. They want to know if it affects it too much. So that's what the question is. Let's go down to Mike Joy.
Second group of cars coming in for pit stops, Neil. I'm with Robbie Loomis in the Richard Petty pit. How's the King doing today?
Well, the King's doing real good. He said he's doing a whole lot better than the car. So we got involved in that accident over there on the backside, and we're just trying to make it through the day in one piece and survive.
They've lost the clutch in the Richard Petty car. Meanwhile, A.J. Foyt is in getting fresh tires and service. They've got a TV here in the Petty pit, so half the crew's looking over pit wall, and the rest are turned around watching it on television.
Richard Petty's doing real well. He's running in 18th position, the 54-year-old 7-time winner of this event. There's A.J. Foyt. the other superstar, super veteran of racing, 4-time winner of the Indy 500, 72 winner here in the Daytona 5, won Le Mans. They continue to work on Darrell Waltrip's number 17 to get him back in here, although he's running back in 28th position.
Now, Richard Petty, you mentioned him. He is 2 laps behind the leader. And A.J. Foyt is 3 laps behind. Let's go back to the pits and Mike Joy.
There are no gas gauges in these cars, so they calculate the fuel mileage. Once this can is emptied into the car, they take it back and plop it on the scale and weigh it. They know what the can weighs. They know how much gas weighs per gallon. The amount left in the can, subtracted from 22 gallons in the fuel cell, that's how much gas they burned on the last run of green flag racing. We talked a lot about airflow management today. How about fuel flow management? We have here 2 types of dry brake probes. This is the new Butler-built style. This is the older style. It comes with a splash guard, and when this is inserted into the tank, this type of probe flows an 11-gallon can of fuel 1 second faster than the old type probe. 1 second? Well, it's the length of a football field, and on a 4-pit stop race, it can put your car a quarter mile out front.
Back to green flag racing at Daytona following these messages. We're just back to green flag racing, riding with Richard Petty as they take the green. He is running present time 16th. At car number 43 in 16th position. Back with the leaders. It's Davey Allison who scooted around Michael Waltrip, leading as they came to green. And first, Alan Kowicki has come into second. Michael Waltrip falls to third. You see
then comes Dick Trickle and Morgan Shepherd. Morgan Shepherd was the loser on that pit stop. He came in running second and went out 5th. So all of that's nice strategy that we talked about, him drafting Davey Allison, all that all went out the window when that caution flag came out, when Ernie Irvin spun. And they all came in for fuel, so there was no problem going the rest of the way.
Dick Trickle dives right down on the inside as he tries to move under the Morgan Shepherd car and the Jeff Bodine machine. There's nothing happening down there.
Nope. He's going to get caught out in a bad place there. He'll have to fall in line, pick the draft back up.
The 21 came in for a 4-tire change. The 28.
28 got some tires, but I'll tell you, right now leading that race, that's going to be tough to take it away from Davey. He's going to probably gang up on him to be able to get around him.
Mike Joy.
Well, Mike Waltrip came in here and got 4 tires and beat everybody down pit road. The pit road speed limit of 65 miles an hour, well, measuring that is a little bit of an exact science, as is the enforcement. Glenn Wood can't believe they got 4 tires and beat everybody out. Mike Waltrip's crew was pretty excited about it, too.
Yeah, did a heck of a job. Look at Musgrave in the 55. Remember, he's running a lap down, huh? An 8th spot.
Yep, and look at Michael Waltrip coming up on the outside of Alan Kowicki, and Morgan Shepherd's going to help him some. Of course, Morgan wants to position himself.
Musgrave in the 55 helping Kowicki for the moment at the bottom of the racetrack.
I tell you what, Michael Waltrip got 4 tires in a hurry. He got him so fast he got a different color rim on there. He's got blue wheels. He borrowed them from someone else.
There's the 21 on the outside, Morgan Shepherd. Just finished in this race, 10th.
Boy, Kowicki got caught down there on that low groove, and that train went by him up on the outside. He went from 3rd back to 6th position. Maybe there's something wrong with Kowicki's car. He seems to be just staying down there. He's not trying to pull back up in line. You wonder if there is something wrong. Maybe he's lost a cylinder.
There you see Phil Parsons, number 9, also in it. He's running in 12th position, a lap down. The Melling car just carried Bill Elliott in the past to 2 Daytona 500 victories.
There must be something like you said, Ned, because he's given up 2 spots too easily right here. He must have a problem internally.
Yeah, he's not trying to get in the draft. We're talking about Alan Kowicki. There he does get up in line behind Kyle Petty, but he just stays right down on the low side of the racetrack. And you see Kyle pull away from him, so I think that Alan Kowicki has lost a cylinder.
Kyle in 9th position, a lap down. Kowicki falling off here some. Back up in front from Morgan Shepherd's camera. Looking at number 30. Michael Waltrip in 2nd spot, and Davey Allison just up in front on the point.
come by there in a hurry, don't they?
Morgan taking a look inside of Waltrip. He's wanting to get around. He'd rather be in second place if at all possible, but the thing of Mike Waltrip's is plenty strong.
25 laps to go on this 2.5-mile track. Davey Allison has them covered for the moment. Michael Waltrip has put himself into this race big time here in the final moments. And Morgan Shepherd, longtime campaigner, senses he has an opportunity to win the biggest stock car race of them all. Michael Waltrip is driving in his 7th 500 as you look at Morgan Shepherd here. Benny Parsons, Jeff Bodine, Bill Elliott, they've all won the Daytona 500.
In their 7th start. So there are 3 drivers who have won this thing in their 7th start. I don't know if that's any kind of an omen for Michael Waltrip. Doesn't hurt, does it?
Well, it certainly didn't help to have 7 fellows win from the pole as far as poor Sterling Marlin was concerned.
There's a car dropping to the inside. Earnhardt's going around the 15 car.
Remember, he's in 7th.
He's back a lap down, but maybe he's feeling like he could get up there and threaten to get that lap back.
David Hobbs is in Alan Kowicki's pits.
Paul Andrew, is there a problem with Alan's car?
No, he just lost a draft. The car's not working quite as good as it was earlier in the draft. If he can stay in line and try to get a couple of cars to help him go back up to the front, I think we can improve on this. We'll see what happens. It's a long way to go yet. It's still 24 laps to go. We'll see what happens. The Hooters Ford's done a good job all day long. We'll have to see what happens.
But he just got left out of the draft.
Well, I tell you, David, it was hard to believe. He had opportunities to get back in the draft, and he didn't pull back up there. But I don't know, Neil.
They had one of the options might be he's the last car on the lead lap. For him to improve at all, he's got to get, the cars that are past him were really not positioned, but it's hard to believe he would give them up without a little bit of problem.
But it seems to be running okay there now.
His best finish, right where he's running now, 7th, number 7. Back in '89. Leaders continue to be Davey Allison, Michael Waltrip, and Morgan Shepherd in the Great American Race.
This Daytona 500 race summary is sponsored by STP, The Edge.
Race summary after 447 miles, 7 different leaders, 15 lead changes, averaging 157 miles an hour, and 4 cautions is what's wound them up to 157 miles per hour. You see the cars out. 3 cars continue to battle for the lead. The leading Chevrolet in the field continues to be Earnhardt, 7th, 1 lap down. That big incident over in turn number 2 changed the entire complexion of this event, actually into the back straightaway where it happened. That eliminated some of the top contenders and bent Earnhardt up and put him a lap down. Here's the 15 car of Jeff Bodine, the Bud Moore team. Bud Moore won this event just once in his career. That was back in '78 with Bobby Allison. He's got a shot at it again today. But they've got to do some running. Running currently at 5th spot.
Now we can see Alan Kowicki is back up to speed. He has moved back up to 5th place, right on the bumper of Jeff Bodine.
Take a little further back in the field. There is Harry Gant in the number 33, who had that incredible September, running in the 12th spot. In there also is Buddy Baker and Rick Mast in the car number 1. Mast is being shown in 14th position, the Rockbridge Baths, Virginia driver. Buddy Baker up to 12th spot. The 80 winner, the veteran that retired after he had been injured, came back and looking very good out here right now. Then Gant, and here's that battle. Here is the Kowicki car going beneath Dale Earnhardt's number 3.
And since we saw him a moment ago, he has passed Jeff Bodine and has moved up into 4th place. Maybe Kowicki just backed off there a little bit ago to get him a running start. He's going strong now.
Mike Joy.
Well, Ken, as we get into these last 20 laps, we've kept you pretty well up to date on Richard Petty. Let's check on another couple of legends. A.J. Foyt was just in here a few minutes ago. Needed left side tires, slid over the pit line, and they had to push him back before they could do the work. A.J. shook his fist at the official, got back out into the event. He's still out there running. And Dale Earnhardt, you just mentioned, just 1 lap down. And Ned and Neil, I'm surprised that with all the aerodynamic mess on the left front of that car and all the time they spent in the wind tunnel fine-tuning every square inch of that sheet metal, that he's up running as well as he is with still a lot of damage to the left front corner.
Well, I think that says a lot for the Richard Childress crew, Mike Joy, and with Dale Earnhardt's driving ability as well. I'll tell you, he never gives up. He drives as hard as she'll go every lap.
I think it says a lot for the motor in the number 3, because remember last year they ran over a Seagull and they got that left front fender crumpled early. They kept right on going, and they must have incredible motors in those cars. So here's the leader, Davey Allison. Michael Waltrip's right there in second spot. Morgan Shepherd's in third. We're building for a dramatic finish here in Daytona at the 500. Coming back with 186 of 200 laps complete. 3 cars and a tight dice to decide the Daytona 500. Here's Morgan Shepherd, the car number 21, and listen to this radio communication just a lap ago.
You might ought to get that 30 if you get a chance, because it's hard to do it from third.
Ned, that was Eddie Wood telling Morgan Shepherd he better get on around the 30 if he can. Sometimes it's easier said than done. He's been trying every lap.
Mike Joy.
While the radio waves are crackling here, Neil, I don't quite think that's the strategy. Davey Allison radioed into Robert Yates to have him call down to the 21 crew and ask them to keep Morgan in line so the 2 Fords and the Pontiac could break away from the rest of the field and settle it among themselves. And then, on the last lap, it becomes an intramural battle, Ford against General Motors.
That's 2-1.
Yeah, and we've already seen the working together of the Ford drivers here on 2 occasions today. Jeff Bodine was a lap down. During one caution, Davey Allison slowed down, let Jeff get his lap back, and then Alan Kowicki was a lap down, and Davey was leading the race, slowed down, let him get his lap back. So I'll tell you, if you don't think these manufacturers are involved and Ford Motor Company trying to win the car manufacturers championship, you know, that's just an indication of what goes on.
I think Ernie Irvin hit the nail on the head the other day. Said you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And they feed a lot of car parts to these guys.
You know, it hasn't been long ago, maybe even as early as last year, Neil, that you would not have seen anyone let anybody get back in the lead lap that you thought would be a contender at the end of the race.
Boy, I'm glad I don't race. I never had that discipline. I'd like to keep them down if you can. Stomp them.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we saw a Pontiac win this race was 1983. Kaylee Arborough pulled it off. So we want to give you the last 10 laps without interruption. So we're going to take a quick commercial break here and then back for the decision on the 500. Just coming out of turn number 4, Michael Waltrip's number 30. Looks like it's lost a cylinder. Running in second place, backing up is the Bahari Racing Team. Billy Ingles, the crew chief, who's back to you there. Michael Waltrip sliding back through the field here.
Yeah, I think he's lost more than a cylinder, Ken. I think that he has a terminal situation with the engine in that Pontiac. They ran so well, and he just ducked right out from between these 2 Fords of Davey Allison and Morgan Shepherd down to the inside. Now Shepherd trying desperately to get back up to Davey Allison.
193 laps complete when they come by. It'll be Davey Allison in first, Morgan Shepherd in second. It will be decided between these 2. Here's Mike.
Mike Waltrip's best career finish is second. Chuck Ryder was hoping to move up 1 notch today. What happened?
Apparently the engine, I don't know exactly what happened. Something happened to the engine. But I'm so proud of Michael, the crew. They did an outstanding job with this backup car. I think we've made a statement of how prepared we are for 1992, and we're happy to have Pennzoil with us.
Okay, let's go to David Hobbs.
Larry McReynolds, Davey Allison's crew chief. It's Ford against Ford now. Can he hold him off?
David, I'm sure he don't even know that, you know. Probably Morgan don't either. I'm sure Morgan will probably sit there another lap or 2 and then just see what he's got, you know. You've been in racing long enough to know how this draft works. You just never know. If the car gets the right run off the corner, you know, a lot can happen, but we're just going to cross our fingers for these next few laps for the Texaco have them forward.
A second back in third is Alan Kowicki in the number 7 car. He is in third. Dan Bodine is in fourth. Trickle is in fifth. There's Jeff Bodine's number 15, that 4th place car. Dick Trickle running that 5th spot. Michael Waltrip sliding back out of this race now.
Now, Michael Waltrip is still on the track, Ken, but he is slowed by at least 100 miles an hour. But he wants to, he's running, it sounds like, on about 5 cylinders out there.
For the moment, staying in that lead lap and being shown 6.
Here we are in Morgan Shepherd's car. That thing showed me a lot on that move. When Waltrip fell out, it made Morgan lift out of the gas just a minute to dodge him, but he was able to close that gap back up. That's very impressive to be able to pull up. We got to see if he's got enough for Davey now, though.
Davey Allison continuing to lead. Morgan Shepherd right there with him.
And the 2 cars that battled down to the wire at Michigan last year, that great finish between this 28 car and the 21 car, the only difference is Dale Jarrett was in the 21 car at that time.
And you'll remember that on the last lap in the last corner, 28 was leading, but at the line by a matter of inches, the 21 car took it home.
It looks like we're going to see some offensive and defensive racing now. We wound it down all day long, follow each other. Now you see Davey moving around, making the 21 car follow him.
15 of 33 Daytona 500s have been won by someone other than the leader at lap 190. Michael?
Leonard Wood, these 2 cars, one different driver fought it out at Michigan in June on CBS. What do you think in these last few laps?
Well, he called in. He said he thought the motor might be slowing down a little bit, so I really can't tell what's going to happen.
But we'll sit here and watch it unfold. For pit road, you only see the last 500 feet of this racetrack, but that'll be enough for the Wood brothers.
What people don't think about, these cars have been tortured for 500 miles. The valve springs and the valve train are what take the abuse. When those springs get weak, you start losing power. And right now, both of these cars are pretty well used up.
The Alabama gang tradition continues. Davey Allison leading here again at Daytona. Time running out. Morgan Shepherd out of Conover, North Carolina, closing down another time. 1, maybe a car and a half length separates the 2. Last lap at about 189 miles an hour.
And running in 3rd, quite a distance behind them, is Alan Kowicki and Jeff Bodine. Running 3rd and 4th, and Dick Trickle still in 5th. Just 5 cars now in the lead lap.
And now sliding back through the field is Michael Waltrip after his valiant effort out here today. Kyle Petty is 6th. Labonte is 7th. Musgrave, terrific afternoon, is in 8th. 9th is Earnhardt. 10th is Phil Parsons. 11th is Baker. 12th is Harry Gant, and 13th is Rick Mast.
Ken, we were just looking at Robert Yates. He's the guy that owns the race team Davey drives for, but he also builds engines. They can build them to go 500 miles, 550, and sometimes 600. They all know the fuse is about worn out on these things, and Yates is probably sweating these last few laps out.
Well, it'll be the white flag when they come around the next time.
Show and tell as we're ready to do some racing now.
Davey Allison draws away by 3 car lengths for the moment. Around Dave Marcus in the 71. Morgan Shepherd closes ground another time. But Davey Allison draws away in turn 3.
I believe Morgan backed off just a little bit. He wants to see how much of a running start he can get.
Yeah, you've got to test every part of it. He needs to see if he can make that run, and he's able to close it up right now.
Back to the stripe, white flag, and 1 lap to go to decide the Daytona 500. Davey Allison in front and Morgan Shepherd in second. Shepherd stays right there. He's closed it all the way down. Robert Yates looks on. Davey Allison's mentor.
Okay, he's backed off a little again to see how much momentum he can get. He tried it the last time around. He was able to pull right back up on his bumper. Timing is everything now, Neil.
That gap right there should pay off at the end of the back straightaway if he's got the momentum to do it.
Around Michael Waltrip's car. Down for the finish. Going into turn 3. Mike?
Glenn Wood, can he do it?
I don't think so. He's pretty strong. It's just up to Morgan how he gets in the turn with him.
Here they come. Morgan down to the line. Davey Allison first. Morgan Shepherd gets it all back there. Has he got anything left? Coming to the stripe. Morgan comes to the inside, and Davey Allison is going to win the Daytona 500. The Alabama gang has done it again. The son of a great champion at this track, Bobby Allison. Davey Allison victorious in the 34th annual Daytona 500. 14th career win for Davey Allison. Comes in the one race that means the most. Davey Allison has said that the greatest moment in his career was when he finished second to his dad here in 1988. He won 11 races since then, and he's always said that was the finest moment. Perhaps this equals that moment. 135,000 people standing in the infield in all these 97,000 plus seats outside, ready to give an ovation to Allison, the new member of the Alabama gang. Neil, he sure looked good today.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm glad to see him run like this. It's been a good day for me in racing to see the Wood brothers run as well as they did, and boy, Davey really brought it home today.
So here's Davey Allison's car rolling down for the most important victory that it has ever scored, Ned.
No question about that. This is, as has been said so many times, the Super Bowl of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Almost $2.5 million in prize money. Wow.
They've asked him to compare his driving style with his father, and he has said, I really don't classify my driving style. I don't know. I guess it'd be easier to observe from the outside than the inside. But he sure looked like him today.
As he pulls up now to get the spoilers checked before they head to victory lane.
So for the entire CBS Sports crew, this is Ken Squire saying so long from the Daytona International Speedway. For Davey Allison has won his first Daytona 500.
Okay, guys, here's how they finished in the 92 Daytona 500. Davey Allison's your winner. Morgan Shepherd second. Jeffrey Bodine third. Alan Kowicki fourth. Dick Trickle fifth. Kyle Petty sixth. Terry Labonte seventh. Ted Musgrave eighth. Dale Earnhardt ninth. Phil Parsons 10th. Buddy Baker 11th. Harry Gant 12th. Rick Mass 13th. Greg Sachs 14th, Walden Donovan Jr. 15th, Richard Petty 16th, Phil Bortdahl 17th, Michael Waltrip 18th, Dorsey Shredder 19th, Dave Marcus 20th, AJ Foyt 21st, Stanley Smith 22nd, Rick Wilson 23rd, Hutch Strickland 24th, Delma Cowart 25th, Dale Waltrip 26th, Bill Elliott 27th, Ernie Evans 28th, Mark Martin 29th, Mike Potter 30th, Rusty Wallace 31st, Bobby Hamilton 32nd, Kerry Tarr 33rd, Derek Cup 34th, Starlin Marlin 35th, Dale Jarrett 36th, Ken Schrader 37th, Bobby Helen Jr. 38th, Chad Little 39th, Ricky Rudd 40th, Greg Bodine 41st, and Bob Shettis 42nd. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a good day and God bless. I sure have some more Daytona 500s in the coming days. So subscribe to my podcast, PPN NASCAR Now, as I go through the classic races archives. Have a good day, y'all, and God bless.